bothers you, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, that's because you think too much about what others think of you.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Project Manga podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover, The Promised Neverland, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen, week to week. Back this week, covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 24. I'm your host, Eagle.
I'm Kiko.
Noxie.
And Nickums.
And as always, before we get started, we would just like to say, go ahead and visit that link tree in the description box down below, where you can find links to any and all of our online communities, as well as audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, and links to support the podcast if you'd be so inclined. Also, go ahead and slap a like on this video real quick and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. And with that, how you guys feeling about this weekend, Joe?
No One Piece.
No One Piece.
No One Piece, yeah.
Great
Yeah,
week.
Things
though.
were a little quick too. Kind of some quick.
Yeah, it did feel quick.
I feel like we're, in retrospect, going to appreciate this time where Oda's getting a little more time in between chapters to do his thing.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like in retrospect, we're going to look back and, you know, if nothing else, for the quality of the art, appreciate the extra time that he's getting.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like,
I think so.
you know, he's going to get in his bag over this time.
He can just like
where
honestly,
he's locked down in the bunker.
Like we know that it's like nearing like the end of the series, or at least trying to. So it's like
It's
after 25, you know, like years.
I feel like people don't want to accept it.
I don't want to accept it, but I mean, like, I just feel like, I mean, just the fact that you have other stories that are on really intense hiatuses that like we, you know, complain about or that we're sad about or whatever. And like One Piece, Oda has just like persevered throughout 25 years of like this crazy story. Like if he wants to like start taking more breaks towards the end, like I'm not going to be mad about that. You know what I mean? Because
I mean, yeah,
I'm not ready for it to
I don't
end
even
for
know that
one.
it's him
And, like,
rather than an edit. I don't know.
Oh, and it could be like an editorial thing. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, to keep him safe. I think,
It's
and I'm
hard to
totally
say what
fine
it
with them
is,
trying
you
to
know?
keep him safe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you don't want Oda to get the Rona.
The
and
Roner.
who knows what would happen? You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with a little extra safety, extra time to
Yes.
do the editing and stuff, and less contact. And I think it'll be good.
I wonder if it's like, I wonder if that's just purely what it is having less contact with people coming to pick up his raws and shit. And
Yeah.
His staff like posted like a thing, and they were saying like we can't really meet as much and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they had, I think it was like coronavirus reasons for why it's like
Yeah.
slowed down or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
well, anyways, I think we should.
Let's get into it because Jujutsu Kaisen is gas as fuck this week.
Let's get right into it.
Yes.
Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 106, the Shibuya Incident Part 24.
All right, let me start us off here
Take it
because
away.
Go ahead.
last
Get in your
week
bag.
last week, you know, the chapter ends with Choso obliterating Yuji. Yuji is like slumped over, dying, and Choso is like, all right, you're still breathing, huh? I'm gonna come and finish you off.
Yeah.
And we were wondering, and then there's this little bit where it says, you know, Choso, a memory is born in Choso's mind of a past event that never happened.
Yes.
And last
we were
week,
heavily speculating on
heavy speculation. Let me just say that I think I literally have this figured out.
Okay.
I think I literally know
Go ahead with it.
exactly
Let's go.
what this is. And my theory last week was that this is Yuji's ability.
Yeah.
And let me go through this because I literally do still think that this is Yuji's ability, his actual ability that he will unlock at some point. And I will tell you
that's backed
exactly
up,
why. So, first page of this chapter, you know, it kind of rewinds a little bit, and Choso's like, okay, when you get to the other side, you know, ask for my brother's forgiveness. And then
Yeah.
it goes to Sukuna, and Sukuna's like, I can't believe you lost to this homie.
Yeah.
And then Sukuna is surprised. The
Yes.
bottom panel, he is surprised.
Yeah.
So right off here, we know that this is not Sukuna's doing.
That's right.
Whatever this
Correct.
memory
I agree.
thing, not Sukuna.
1,000%.
He's like,
agree so
huh?
far. Yes.
So now the other side of like what this ability is, we were talking about was the flashback or the fake flashback, the fake memory that Todo had in the Kyoto exchange arc when him and Yuji became like best friends. So I'm going to this is the second time this ability has been activated. Yuji have activated this ability at that time in that arc, and I will explain to you exactly the comparison and how this is like guaranteed.
Yeah.
So Kyoto Exchange Arc, this is chapter 35, page 3 is the cover of this chapter, whatever. I'm going in my phone here to the screenshot I have here.
Yeah.
So the wording that the translators used at that time for when this memory went into Toto's mind was, at that moment, they overflowed within Toto memories that do not exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's different translators for what I'm reading in that chapter versus this chapter. I'm very confident these are the exact same words that are being used. A fake memory born in the target of the ability, the target's mind.
Yes.
Okay, so now what is the ability? How does it activate? So basically, if we're considering this as like Nen style abilities, conditions, this is a manipulator ability. And what are the conditions? There are 2 conditions. I went back and reread that fight or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure I know the 2 conditions that this ability has. 1, the target has to ask Yuji a personal question that they really care about the answer. So here's the 2 examples. Todo asked Yuji, what kind of girl is your type? And he really cares, obviously. This is like his thing. Like he really likes women. He really cares about this. Choso asked Yuji, what happened to my brothers when you killed them?
Okay.
What did they say?
Important to
what
that
did they
person
say? Important to the target. Important to the target of the ability.
Wow.
And of course, they both really care. Now, Yuji must answer this question truthfully. When Toto asks him, Yuji truthfully answers, I like women like Jennifer Lopez, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Immediately at that time, when he answers that question, the ability activates and Toto gets a fake memory of them being best friends.
Yeah.
Now, how about Choso? Choso asked that question, the ability did not activate because there's 2 conditions. So, but Choso did ask Yuji a very personal question that he did care about, and Yuji answered him truthfully. They didn't really say anything, but they did cry.
Yeah.
This question has to bridge empathy between Yuji and the target, right? Now, next, what's the second condition? Yuji has to, intentionally or unintentionally, I would say, have to be completely vulnerable to the target. And this happened twice in both situations. Once, in the Toto fight, Toto knocked Yuji out. He beat the shit out of him, and Yuji was like slumped up against a tree, like just out of it, completely out of it.
Yeah.
And that was the first condition. The second condition of the Toto thing was the question. In this, it's flipped. Choso first asked the question, then beat the shit out of Yuji. Yuji gets slumped over, knocked out. Immediately, the ability activates. Now,
shit.
I have more here. First, and for the record, vulnerability, this concept of Yuji being vulnerable to the target, vulnerability is a really big theme in Shonen Jump right now.
Yeah.
Lots of Shonen protagonists are becoming very emotional, very, they're not just meatheads anymore. We're getting into some emotional, like deep, tragic kind of stuff. Now, there's one more bit that is really, I think, important here. If you go to the page where Todo has just knocked out Yuji in the Kyoto Exchange arc, he kind of like has this like exclamation point bubble, and he's like, "What?" And then the background of the panel, I'll try and put it up for the YouTube watchers here.
Yeah.
The background of the panel is a very specific pattern of shading.
Shit.
A very, very specific pattern of shading. And if you go to the last chapter with Choso,
page 3.
No, last chapter. Or no, is it page 3? No, last chapter in terms of.
It's on page 3 too. Of
It's
this new
also
chapter.
on page 3.
Of a past event. Here's Choso. A past event that never happened. The exact same shading. The exact same shading in the background. This is an ability activation, and this is literally Yuji's ability. I'm pretty sure I am completely correct on this. Now, tell me your thoughts on this.
Subconscious.
That's
So
brilliant.
he doesn't know how to control it yet, but he is growing this ability. This is his ability.
My question that I could just say about the whole theory is the getting knocked out part. Is that a condition, or is that when he's unconsciously knocked out, is that the subconscious activation? Like, is that that's the only time it's activated, right?
Sure. That could be it. Now, I guess I'm just thinking that if it was the second condition, and that's why when Choso asked the question, the really personal question that didn't activate at that time, that kind of tells me that there's a second condition that didn't activate yet until this moment in the Choso fight. But you're totally right. It could be just a coincidence that Yuji's his unconscious is bringing out the ability, and so that's why he has to be unconscious a little bit in the fight.
Right.
But imagine this ability, if it was empathy based, that Yuji could be like intentionally vulnerable. He could be like, I love you, enemy. Like I'm totally not gonna hurt you, but that activates his ability, and you like to really dig down deep to do that. Like that would be a high condition, you know what I mean? To be vulnerable against the enemy. So I don't know. I think I'm totally correct on this.
I think you want to know what?
Yeah.
Like I think
I like
that's
it.
100% like fine, and that's good, and that's amazing. And I feel like this, as soon as we see that
really
Sukuna is confused
Surprised,
as to what's going on, it like pretty much confirms like, okay, like yes, this is Yuji's
not
doing.
Sukuna's
It's not
ability.
Sukuna, so obviously it has to be Yuji. But then like it makes you think about like Yuji's parents. Like Yuji's parents have to have this ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like this has to be
Sure.
like this has to be
But
something that they
I've
did.
been
but then-
harping on it for weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Right.
you know, because like Kiko was saying a couple weeks ago or last week, like there's a reason why Yuji didn't let his grandfather tell him about his parents. You know what I mean? So like this has to be like a lineage, you know, factor, or you know, like a something, you know, pertaining to Yuji's, you know, family to some degree. But I mean, at the same time, it's like it's awkward to me as far as right now, until I get more information, obviously, why you would focus on like giving a martial artist like Yuji.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't fit his character, right?
Yeah, you
like,
know what I mean? Like,
it's
if
kind
he-
of a weird ability
Yeah.
for a Shonen
But-
MC to have.
But he is a
Great.
Shonen MC.
It's-
Shonen MCs are very known to be empathetic, not empathetic, but like to
Right.
make friends of enemies. You know what I mean?
That's
and
right.
this is
Yeah,
like
and-
using that power of friendship as an ability.
Yeah, and if
yeah,
he
this
hones
is power of friendship in a new way. It's a new spin on.
Yeah,
And
Power
if
of-
he
yeah,
hones
power of
this
friendship.
ability, if he hones this ability and like masters it or whatever, then like how is Gege going to keep that, you know, how is Gege going to keep that like fresh and like cool, you know what I mean? Like is he just going to be like,
Well, here-
we're friends now, you know what I mean? Like whenever you know he's fighting a tough opponent, like how is the application of this ability, if it is like his main, you know, like jutsu shiki of like his family, or just like his main ability, you know, or you know, for his character, you're going to be fighting.
I got another condition for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
sure.
there's I was just gonna say there's a lot of conditions.
Yeah.
There could be another. Well, like I thought the same thing. That the personal question thing I thought was like the main condition, the main catalyst.
I would agree. I would
But
agree with that. The main condition. Yeah.
I thought there is some unseen damage meter that they do to each other, right? It doesn't matter inflicted or received, you know, like damage meter fills up, which that's easier to do, and it keeps martial art. It'll keep Yuji using martial arts.
Yeah,
That's the
sure.
only thing that I wanted to. I want. Yeah, exactly. I felt
That's
the
a
same
really
way you
cool
did,
thing,
Noxie,
yeah,
where I was
yeah.
like, I love that we're going this direction, because I'm all on board for it, right?
Yeah.
But I feel that for a character who has the most physical prowess of any character since Toji, like he is the most physically able of any character. You gotta keep that you know,
dynamic
to be
going.
part of his fighting style. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that would be a great
But,
way, like a damage meter. I didn't even think about that. So like he has to fill up, you know, through fighting before he can activate the ability. But
inflicted and received
Right.
together, and received. It seems like is in these two cases have tipped
High.
it over the scale.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
ultimately, it's just
Yeah.
like it just comes down to like, okay, is this going to be the end of all of Yuji's fights? Is this ability? You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
if
no,
he has
because
to,
some enemies will not care to ask him a personal question.
yeah, that's true too.
There's a lot
And
of questions in
Choso-
dialogue that fly in fights, but
Yeah.
there's not guaranteed that the enemy will ask him like such a personal
But if
question.
that's such a
that matters.
specific condition, and that not every enemy is going to like, why is this his ability? You know what I mean? Like that's just such a
We'll need. Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
You
need
can't
to
always
talk
pick
about
it.
It's come into play
you
a
can't
couple
always
times
pick
already.
it.
I mean,
yeah,
if the author
Well,
can
yeah.
find a way to interject it in a meaningful fashion, then
yeah, for sure.
Well, and Choso isn't falling for it. He knows it's oh hell no. This
Right.
isn't you were
but he
never
still
here.
left.
This,
Yeah.
But he still left.
Yeah, he still went crazy.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
still like had a mental.
Yeah, he went
breakdown.
crazy, but see,
I
that
thought it was the malice sickness Noxie was talking about for a second.
I would have loved
Sure.
it.
but it makes sense for a cursed womb death painting with who knows how the fuck his mind works, right?
Yeah.
Like so like it makes sense that he could go crazy and run off here in this, where Todo didn't. Todo was like, okay, I love you, we gotta still fight or whatever, you're now my best friend, but you know, we're still, now this is a fight, a brotherly fight, you know, kind of thing. And there is going to be characters that react to, like, it's all basic how you're going to react to it, especially if you know, like Choso knows this didn't fucking happen, this actual memory happened. It seems like he thinks that it actually happened, but it did, but Yuji obviously was not a part of it. Like, this is their own picnic they had somewhere, but that can't be true, because where I kind of wanted to go with this whole thing is that on their picnic table is 6 cursed wombs, because the 6 cursed wombs plus 3 brothers is the 9 cursed womb abortions that the woman had.
That's right.
That had the 9 brothers.
That's right.
And when I first saw it, I was like, does this mean Yuji is one of those 9? But then I think I just kind of miscounted when I saw the cursed wombs. I was like, oh shit, is Yuji a cursed womb? And this is why he didn't, you know, and the grandpa was like, I gotta tell you some shit, right? And he's like, no, I don't want it, you know? Like, I thought that might be it, but then I'm like, no, I like looked at it again. But regardless, like, those 6 cursed wombs on the table and the 3 brothers, I mean, that's obviously, you know, represents the 9.
Right.
So the memory, it's,
like, imperfect, you're saying it has internal inconsistencies with other of Choso's memories, so he doesn't like Todo seemed to just believe it. Todo's just like, oh yeah, like, obviously it seems we're best friends. I guess it's just how it is now. But Choso's like, this doesn't make sense, but he still was convinced enough by it that he was like, well, I'm not going to take the chance and actually kill Yuji, I'm going to leave. Just in case, what if I am mistaken in some way?
So regardless though, why would Yuji's ability activate and have those 6 cursed wombs there? There has to be some connection between these 9 cursed wombs and Yuji. Like, there has to be. Why else?
Or maybe it's just because it's Choso's memory and he's a cursed womb and his brothers are
Okay.
Man, I'm like,
it's so weird. It's so weird.
Kiko's like, got this fucking tinfoil hat on. Like,
he's got the Charlie meme.
I think it's good. I think it's good
to my fucking house, man.
I think it's good to be critical of such a theory. I just think that when I went back and read it, I was like, this is 100% for me.
It's got to be.
But what you're saying, Eagle, is I'm the Alex Jones of manga podcasters. Is that it?
I've got cursed wombs in my ass.
The water cursed womb shit is just gay.
Well, the cursed womb shit is just so interesting. I mean, and we don't have that much info on it. And to kind of jump to the end here, Naobito says, "Oh, you're a cursed womb."
Yeah, he does say that.
Kraken. You know, which the only thing that we know. Oh yeah, definitely. But the only thing that we know, like, so he's just a cursed womb. He's not a cursed womb death painting, right? And like, there's a difference.
Maybe there's a difference there between them.
Yeah. One is a human was like impregnated and has a as like an abortion or whatever. Maybe
like a miscarriage. Or something.
It's.
I forget what they said.
But yeah, I think it's a miscarriage, and then the remains are used to make that death womb or whatever. Cursed death womb, death painting, whatever the hell. But the cursed womb is birthed just off a cursed object, you know. And the only thing that we have, the only info that I ever remember getting and that I was looking for is that Ichiji says that wombs, like the death wombs, cursed wombs can grow. The ones that can grow and change their shape and like assimilate like matter within them, like he does, are almost always give birth to special grades. So I mean, that's why we got Big Swole Kraken Man, Davy Jones Cthulhu out here today.
Davy Jones Cthulhu. Well, moving into
so who's right after the Choso bit in the beginning? Like, these 2 ladies.
Those are Ghetto's girls.
Those are the Ghetto girls, right?
Yeah.
So they're about to feed Yuji a finger, right?
That's
what they have, a finger.
That's right.
The 6 fingers that they stole from the school.
Well, she's holding one in her
or the
hand.
6th.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to go into next.
Number 6 or 6?
That's definitely a finger, and there's the healing, right? So that's that. There's how
there's the healing. But Kiko, are you saying that they have 6 fingers with them, or they have a finger and it's number 6?
I'm pretty sure it's 6 fingers. There's multiple fingers stolen from the high school, and I think it's 6. I might be wrong. Maybe it's 4.
They took
maybe
6.
4 or 6.
No, Mahito took 6 of them, I think, in the Exchange Festival arc. Yeah. But I mean,
yeah,
like,
and I guess we don't really know how many are there that they have, but
Yeah.
you know that in this group's possession is 6, but
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
Brain-kun only gave them 1 to feed to
Yeah.
Yuji.
Sure.
We don't know.
Sure.
yeah.
But yeah.
But they
That'd be
definitely
crazy.
have at
It
least
looks
one.
like one. I can't.
Yeah, they
it's hard to
definitely
tell.
have at
Well,
least
sure.
one. And this is gonna be how Yuji, you know, like comes back. This is his healing. We wanted it to be like either like a Sukuna situation or reverse Jutsu Shiki, but just eat a finger and you'll probably get healed up, you know, from eating that. And that's really cool.
Well-
and then this will be a power boost,
That or
you
it
know,
could
that brings
backfire on
him.
and he gets taken over.
Well, this will
Yeah.
be, you know, like a power boost for him, right? To like going through the rest of the arc, because we know that Yuji has to fight again before the end of this arc.
Right.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
So
Each finger is, right? It has been in the past anyway. He's gotten pretty much kind of stronger with each finger.
yeah, you definitely get
Yeah.
stronger with each finger. But it's just like
Well,
it's just
and-
like I'm thinking if he can't beat Choso, then it's like what other fights is he gonna have in the rest of the arc? Like you would think that he would be trying to fight Mahito again. You know what I mean? And like this could be, you know, the deciding factor.
Well, after he eats a finger, he could fight anybody, and there could, you know, it'll make sense just on the fact he's healed, he's stronger, whatever. He
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
you know, fight whoever. But yeah, that's their goal though. That's Mahito's and whatever Brain-kun's one of their main goals is to feed all these fingers to Yuji and get Sukuna out of it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, Mahito doesn't care. Like Mahito
Yeah,
has said like
Mahito
a few.
doesn't.
He said a few chapters ago, like we could kill him, we could not kill him. I don't really care either way.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
yeah, definitely like a main goal of many people is to get him to eat the fingers for sure.
Yep,
It was
absolutely.
just like, y'all do what you're trying to do. We'll do what we're trying to do. Whoever does it first, fuck it. It's fucking
can
way of the
we-
road, bud.
Yes.
Can we talk about Naobito's
Naobito.
ability?
Right. So
Yo,
I have,
So
I was just gonna
sick!
So
say,
sick.
He's on some JoJo shit, man.
This
in
is
the
the
mirror.
this is one of the coolest things I've seen in so
so
long.
my when I first saw this like chapter, like my initial like idea, because like obviously we know that, you know, the Zenin clan is like a shadow based, you know, Jutsu Shiki like
Sure.
team or family, right?
Mhm.
Or
Well,
at least
are there any? I was gonna say, is there any other examples of them using Shadow Jutsu Shiki? I was gonna say that it's just anything on like image reflection
yeah.
in general, and that's why the glass
Okay.
or mirror here
Yeah.
really fits with the shadow.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it definitely could be like that, but I mean, like I think I remember like inside of like the explanation of like the Zenin clan, they said that Megumi was like particularly like special with the fact that he can have up to like 10. I think all of them have like 10, you know, like Shikigami that they can, you know, summon or control in like some regard using like shadows as like a medium, you know, or whatever. So like, but they said that Megumi was particularly special for some reason, and that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But I think it's pretty safe to assume that like this is like a shadow based like situation, because I feel like he's trapping the squid's shadow inside of this like paper or this glass.
So
you
can
know,
I
like,
jump in a little
sheet.
bit here?
Yeah.
Because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, but I have a different reason for why. Now, in this panel where he first uses this ability, it's kind of like a screen, right? Like a VR, like or a augmented reality
Well,
screen.
it breaks
this-
like glass when he
and-
punches.
yeah,
That's right.
and the sound effect is wing, wing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a electronic-y
Yeah.
kind of sound or whatever.
Yeah.
And I agree, it breaks like glass when he punches it, like the screen of a TV
like
or
a
something.
monitor. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
let me just say that in Chinese, and I'm not sure about Japanese, but in Chinese, the word movie is like the character for shadow is in the word movie.
Oh.
And so like it could be that in this case, shadow-based abilities do align with like electronic media abilities. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like
okay.
they could be like the same like vein in
Yeah.
that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I totally believe when you say shadow abilities, I was like, oh damn, like that's like
Yeah.
ringing some bells for me in terms
Yeah.
of video. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like and
yeah.
this is like he shows a video of this little boy and punches it, and you know what I mean? It's like cool.
Well, I think like what heck, because Nanami goes to go like rush him. He's like, let me take, you know, let me handle it. And then Naobito's like, you guys are a little bit too slow. And I think it's because he's like, I think the condition that he meets, because if you look behind the squid in the Nanami panel where he's readying his cleaver, you know, or whatever,
It's
Mhm.
great.
it's that same gray behind him
That the thing is, I
that
was
the
gonna say
paper
that.
is, you know what I mean? So I feel like he was either behind him or he like casted, you know, his Jutsu Shiki, you know, behind him to capture the shadow and then transfer it to this, you know, screen to trap him in it. And then like it's kind of like a spatial manipulation, you know, like once the shadow link is like made or whatever. Once you, like,
sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So now that he's you know, like linked his ability to your shadow, you show up on his screen, and there you are, and then he can knock you out through the, you know, through the screen or whatever. But I mean, like, originally I didn't think of it as like a monitor. I thought of it as like a piece of paper. You know what I mean? And like you have, so like I was thinking that like a name, you know, for the Jutsu Shiki would be like Kagegami or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like shadow and like origami, some kind of like play on the words like shadow and paper. You know what I mean? So I thought that would be like really cool if we saw like other paper-based abilities from like Naobito, like in regards to like how, you know, he controls shadows in his own way. I'm not exactly sure. This is a very
Fluid,
it's a very vague,
yeah.
very, you know,
no,
but so sick.
When I'm looking at this, look at the this like paper or screen or whatever that the little Cthulhu boy is on.
Yeah.
He has a certain hand posture.
Yeah.
And it's the same hand posture of him hugging a pole. And so it's as if Naobito saw him and took a snapshot of him visually.
Oh.
And took the image of him.
Well, yeah.
And so when he says like you're too slow because I see him. I see him. I can activate my ability. It doesn't matter to me.
You're right, because no, you're 100% right, because okay, look at the panel where Cthulhu boy is looking on the, you know, other side where he's holding.
Yeah.
where he's holding the other side of that pole.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Nanami pulls the fucking hatchet cleaver out.
Yep.
Nanami and Maki's eyes both, you know, like go, whoa, what's that? Or whatever. Or they're just like, you know, I don't know, whatever that is. But the next one right there, right behind him, it's the same gray color as the screen. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what Noxie was talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we were saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
So I think that's like the snapshot. Like I locked you in, and that could be like, it could be shadow based, it could be vision based, but like definitely like something there for sure.
Well, so are you guys saying that he gets pulled into the snapshot physically?
No, I think it's like a
because
like
I gotta
Leorio. It's a I can see you. I punch through dimensions to this.
But it looks like he brought him to his location.
Like he actually had him trapped in there.
Yeah.
And when he punched
You think so?
it, he came out of it. Like
yeah, you can see it when he
out
punches
of
him that he's there. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets punched out of it for sure.
What I got from
damn.
it was it felt a lot to me like I said, the JoJo stand Man in the Mirror, where it could be based on shadows or it could be based on reflection.
Sure.
If he gets your shadow in that, or he gets your reflection in that, he can pull you into that world.
Yes.
And then, you know, he punched him out of it. But in JoJo's, I'm not sure how it's going to work in here.
Sure.
In that mirror world, you're separate from your stand, your ability, so you don't have access to your stand. So he can just beat the shit out of you in that world.
Oh,
so I don't know if that might correlate in some way here, where
it looks like you're.
I guess you're right. He does punch him. He punches him out of the screen.
You're separate from your Jutsu Shiki, so he can just like beat the shit out of you. Maybe go in there and beat the shit out of you, or maybe he just pulls you in there and then hits you.
Yeah, there's suspended in animation right there.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. Looking again, I agree with that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why I think it's all like image projection related. Like there's definitely shadows and reflection are definitely related, right? Like whatever the hell you call that. I mean, that's clearly all what it has to be, right? Like a reflection. Maybe it's not only reflection, because you're saying taking a. I mean,
like
I guess it's kind of a reflection. A picture is still a reflection, right?
Picture's a reflection into the lens, you know, into that mechanism.
Yeah, maybe he traps you in that moment, whatever he gets you in, you know, because it doesn't look like he was able to move.
Yep, and then he punches him
agree.
and he fucking throws up
like
100 skeletons.
Ooh. Yeah. Even more evidence that he's trapped in there. The panel where he says you're a little too slow. The little boy in the Cthulhu boy has an exclamation point bubble. He says he's trapped in there like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that until just now.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
And
I love this ability. It's so cool.
It's
looking.
so sick, and I can't wait to get the explanation behind it. Hopefully, I mean, Ga-Ga is probably
next chapter or two chapters or something.
Ga-Ga is probably going to stay in this fight for a couple chapters.
So about the 100 skeletons or whatever the hell, so
he was eating people.
He's just going around eating
exactly,
people.
Yeah.
Is that
trans curse wounds, do we think? Where like
that is exactly
you have
100%.
to kill and eat so many people to evolve into your adult form or whatever.
It's not always the same condition, but they do have to take in some type of energy, which in this case seems to be, that he actually took in physical matter, where I think a lot of the time it's fear, and maybe this is fear-based still as well. You're about to be eaten, eaten, but these were transmigrated people. I think that's the term we were using.
Transmogrified,
yeah, whatever.
Or transmutated, one of the two. I think Nox.
But either term works. Either term works. Yeah.
I don't know if they're. Yeah, I don't know if they're able to experience fear after they're in that state, but fear is really the driving force of Juryoku in the story. So, regardless of how they generate the fear, that's what it kind of felt like to me. You're getting eaten, that's pretty fucking scary. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking on that one.
Yeah. But man,
I'm getting a few stories mixed up in my mind where, like, in Kimetsu no Yaiba, the demons, if they eat too many people, they get stronger, and then I feel like in Chainsaw Man, I don't know if that's a thing in Chainsaw Man if you eat enough people, but like, wasn't that a thing in
you get stronger? Yeah.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, wasn't that one of the things in the beginning that if you kill enough people, like you should be watched out for? Maybe I'm just mixing up with Kimetsu no Yaiba.
I can't remember that.
I don't know.
I'm probably just mixing it up.
Speaking of Kimetsu no Yaiba, man, c'est la vie, man. Rest in
peace.
Good
ending. I liked it.
Yeah, dude, it's over.
I hadn't read it, but I know one of my, my old roommate, one of my good buddies, he's very sad about it. He was torn up today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, whenever it's something you love comes to an end, it's always a big hit.
Exactly.
Sarabada.
But man, this Cthulhu form looks drastic, bro. I cannot wait to see this domain expansion.
He looks.
Cannot wait to see.
So do you think because this Cthulhu boy mentioned, Hanami and mentioned Jogo and Mahito, you do think that this is the ocean-based fear curse? Yeah, like the same way as Jogo's mountains.
No,
and
not anymore.
There's that other octopus that this thing spawned from, right?
Wait, what?
I think it's all the same.
Geto's main thing he was riding around on. That was like
it was a lot bigger.
That's this guy.
It was way bigger.
That's this guy.
No.
How's that not this guy?
This dude is way smaller. It was big enough for Geto to be lounged up on one of his arms.
Yeah, he was laying on it. Yeah.
How do you even you can't even see?
You can't even see how
big
this dude is. Just like
you see him, he's laid out.
Yeah, he's small.
On page 14.
This is just a mob. This is just a mob that spawned off of that character.
Yeah, he spawned. The bigger octopus spawned this guy.
Sure.
And Geto was like, "Yo, go, make moves or whatever."
I don't know either way. I'm just asking.
That was an actual scene that we got?
Yeah, in one of the tunnel scenes, he spawned this guy and was like, "Yo, go."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that makes sense why now Bito calls him a cursed womb. You are a birthed creature of a curse.
And
that's what I was gonna say. Not this guy, but the original curse I still do think is the ocean. But this guy is just a cursed womb. Yeah.
Okay.
As long as they can consume something, whatever it is, I still think it's fear, but however it's done, they can grow and change their form. They birth special grade curses on their own.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say maybe it's like a generational thing where each ocean, woods, lava curse as they grow, to keep the line going. I don't know. Maybe curses are immortal. Maybe they have to at one point
have
birth
offspring.
A cursed womb.
Yeah.
To pass the
line
it down.
Yeah, maybe.
And this is the new ocean curse. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or a potential new ocean curse if the original got killed.
I completely missed or forgot that scene where this squid spawned off the original one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So this one does look a lot more formidable than that one before. I'm not gonna lie. So
that one's inactivate. No, that one's gonna turn into a whole fucking Cthulhu Gundam, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely not the ult of the ultimate form of the original. Yeah,
Cthulhu
think
Cthulhu
about
man, Cthulhu Gundam. What the fuck?
Shibuya incident. What number are we on now?
24.
We're on 24.
Okay, so we still got Megumi and Toji. We got Mei and Brain-kun. We got Nobara versus fucking Handy Part 2. We got Jogo and Mahito running around doing whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
We got
over under
Gojo.
45.
Exactly. I mean, we got Gojo resolution. I mean, I don't know. Does it need a resolution? Maybe not, but probably.
I don't think it does.
And it doesn't need to, but I mean, it probably will happen. But regardless, then we still have a whole block of Sukuna coming right now. That's
right.
Or maybe it's not right now, but you know what I mean. That's what this chapter has led us to, is that we're definitely going to get Sukuna involvement from here. And so man, 45 seems low to me. I'm going over. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
I
we're
swear.
not halfway. I feel like we're not halfway.
I feel like if you went this long for saying part 22, part 23, part 24, if you're at
Yeah, you
part
don't
24, like you're clearly not gonna have the arcs, the mini arcs named,
Yeah.
right? So like we could get to part 56 or whatever. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like
yeah.
it's very possible to me. I don't know.
That's so crazy.
I remember
Yeah.
I brought that up a while back where we were kind of talking about it for a second. Like, it's funny, you know, other authors might come up with a unique name for each
Yeah.
chapter,
Yeah.
whereas M.A.N.G.A is just like, fuck it.
Nah.
I'm gonna name them the same
I mean-
shit, just the arc, part this, and it's
Yeah.
fucking art and story. That's the focus.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I mean,
don't
I'll
give a
take that
fuck.
every day of the week
I
as
ain't
long as
taking
your
time to come
story's
up with
got
chapter
this.
names.
Yeah. I
this is-
really don't care. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is totally fine.
Chapter
for me.
name. Chapter
Yeah.
name is kind of stupid to begin with, just to be honest. Like, you're
Yeah,
writing
a lot of
especially like
times-
think of like One Piece. It's like you got 1,000 chapters, and we give a fuck about like the name of one chapter. Like,
Right.
I was just gonna say, even for One Piece, like that's my shit, and I a lot of times don't like. I couldn't name one chapter name.
The
Yeah.
chapter name, like
Could not name
the
one
chapter name
chapter
gives
name.
you all it gives you is like 10 seconds of hype. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? When you're
yeah.
like, oh shit.
Katakuri versus Luffy.
Ascension? Ascension? What does ascension mean?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
geez.
yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, that's what it means. Okay, great. And
Yeah.
you forget about it forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Manga
And a lot of times it's
titles
not even
are,
as hype as what it implies. You know,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
just like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Manga chapter titles are clickbait. I mean, hey.
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
that's how it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had
All
for.
right, well, that's
Yeah, me
it.
too.
That's
I'm
all I
good.
had for it.
I'm good. What a chapter.
Well, with that, we can go ahead and move
Jujutsu.
on then to chapter 69.
Nice.
Hey.
Chainsaw Manu, Shining Power.
Hey, for chapter 69, we got a, you know, you got a double rack there, you know, we got to see, you know.
the double
I just gotta
rack.
say, man, Denji really, like, between this fire and everything else, like, really is taking, like, immense amounts of damage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, damage is subjective. I'd say pain, but I don't know about
Yeah,
damage.
pain, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he can't die, so like,
no,
what does he
damage.
care about damage?
He took enough
Well, no, it
damage
is
to where
damage.
he had to regenerate,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
eat the
it's
blood,
his damage,
drink
his
the blood
damage.
of the dolls.
and that
It's
implies,
damage,
like,
sure.
it's hard for him to die, but he can unless he regenerates or gets his shit pulled.
Yeah. And
Doesn't
this is
this
really
make
cool.
you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't this make you feel that Denji, man, is this? I mean, obviously, we know Chainsaw is a big deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like it's a small deal devil. It's a big
Yeah.
deal, but it's like, man, he 1v1 the fuck out of her, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just don't
yeah.
understand.
And it's because he
doing
used
shit, bro,
it's because
and-
like he used such a like one, light is the weakness, and two,
It's
Right.
who else is going to douse themselves in kerosene and light
Who
themselves
can?
on fire and then
No one else
hug
can.
and then hug
I mean,
this
she
bitch?
said it
Yeah.
multiple times this chapter. Like, I cannot predict what this dude's gonna do. He's
Yeah.
a complete idiot.
Right.
I can't read him. I
Yeah.
don't
You
understand
never-
him.
You
You know,
can never underestimate the ingenuity of an idiot. I swear to God, they'll figure out new
That,
shit
like we
every
were
time.
talking about that Futurama episode with fucking Fry and the brain balls.
Yeah.
You know when Nibblers like when the brains come and make everybody stupid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But then Fry is like already dumb, so he's like still normal and can still, you know, he win the day. You know what I mean? They trust
still
him to like
cognizant or whatever
to do it.
as much
Yeah.
as he is.
Yeah, but dude, it's really
Yeah.
cool
Man,
finally
I miss
seeing him use
Futurama,
this
man.
like it's cool finally seeing Denji use this like detached chain.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Well,
Beam
he's used it before to swing, but in battle.
did he okay, so he
Yeah.
did use it to swing. Okay, already I couldn't
Yeah.
remember, but yeah, Beam was like
And he used it on Beam as a fucking, you know.
oh
saddle
yeah, that's
reins
right,
on-
that's
on-
right
on-
for
reins,
the
yeah.
for the reins. Yeah, he made reins
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, not saddle reins. That's it.
Yeah. But the, yeah,
I
but
said
this
both
is,
just to be sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
This is-
No, but,
this is
but I
really
love
cool.
that because like it's like in One Piece when you're like learning to use your devil fruit, right? It's
Yeah.
like there is more to learn
Yes.
with your ability, and he's slowly getting the hang of it. I love it.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like if there's anything
So-
that's shonen about this series, it's that one concept
Yes,
of
yes.
Denji learning more about the abilities that he has.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
Well, and he's
and that
definitely
coming
getting
out
better
in
by a lot
conflict.
because
Yeah.
to quickly deploy the foot one for that swipe across
Yes.
her gut at the end, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
That was a
and
beautiful
like
panel.
to
Beautiful
go
page.
more even on like how strong
Yes.
Denji's really getting, like he wins or he's basically at a stalemate of tug of war with versus her and a couple of dolls, and he has dolls
3-4
draped
of them.
all over him, trying to fuck him, you know, like
Yeah.
fuck his, you know, whatever, his footing up or whatever, and it's hilarious. Man, hey, so this is so funny, man. Fujimoto is a cyclist, confirmed, right? Like he rides a bike all around fucking Tokyo because he hates cars, bro. The car fucking abusing this fucking dude. Fujimoto hates cars, and I don't know if you peeped the second car that fucking when Denji smashing her with the car, that's Kobeni's car again.
Oh no!
That's Kobeni's car because that's the one that's smashed on the top that fucking Kishibe and fucking one of the Immortal Brothers got smashed on. That's fucking
That's crazy.
That's
Get
the
outta here, bro.
Fucking thing to happen
That's
to Kobeni's
You're
car.
totally right. The top is caved
The
in when they
smash
landed on it.
caved in.
Oh my god!
Dude.
Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that.
Fujimoto's the most environmentally conscious person on the world and hates motor vehicles. I will promise you that because he wants everybody to know cars are getting fucked up in my mind. Like, fuck cars. We don't give a fuck, bro.
Ain't no car surviving.
So funny, dude.
Amazing
Yeah,
art
and
in
you
this
had
chapter,
that
like
fight
that
between
double.
Retsei and Denji where they were fucking shit up on the highway, and
Yes.
Yeah, it's this
Oh, yeah.
car. It's the car abuse in this manga is wild. Every fucking arc, there's 100 cars that get destroyed. Like,
Oh
But
my
yes,
God.
this full page though.
The
This
double
full
page, the
pa-
double-
the double spread, this full page.
Oh,
The
yeah.
double spread of him kicking through
is
her and stuff.
So good.
yeah,
Just
it is.
just great art. Tons of great panels in this chapter.
yeah.
well, and at
Like,
first it was kind of hard to
Fujimoto
tell what
can
was going on,
draw
but then
fire.
you can tell it's like her entrails.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean,
exploding out of her
the manga
fucking-
before this was Fire Punch.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like fire.
No, he can draw fire.
He can do fire. Bro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what were you saying, Eagle?
No, I was just saying it was hard to tell what was happening in the panel at first glance, but then you kind of look closer and you can tell like it's her entrails like exploding out of her fucking guts.
So now that she's out of here,
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
the people aren't
So
going
we're
to
sure. I mean,
the people.
do we
Well,
think
I
she's
mean,
for sure out of here.
assuming that she's.
I would
she's-
assume so,
Assuming
right,
she's
yeah.
cooked.
I'd assume so.
Yeah, assuming she's
I
cooked.
think
Yeah.
so.
Like, so the puppets
But
that
it's
she's
like, man,
made,
that's pretty.
the puppets that she's
quick,
made,
huh?
are they going to just die? They're not going to turn back to regular people, right? Because we got the dialogue that said,
I'm pretty sure they're gonna die.
yeah,
They're already dead or whatever.
Yeah,
They just dropped dead probably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, didn't we figure that out last week or whatever, that you had to activate the ability, you do it on an empty human vessel, aka a dead person whose soul's left their body, and that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
you can put the doll controller into them.
Yeah.
You know, hand
Not
waving,
a
hand
human.
waving.
I thought humans could be alive. The fiends.
Yeah,
had
no,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
just
yeah.
touch them
Oh,
and they
oh,
turn
because
into
there's
dolls,
two,
but
right,
then
right,
they're like
right.
completely dead at
Yeah.
that point, as far as we
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
think Kishibe, I think, was the one who we got the dialogue from, and I'd have to go back to double check the verbiage exactly, but
Sure.
he was like, these people are like, it's over. Like once you get touched, like it's over. Like you're not a person anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean? So,
Yeah.
and
But then
that could either mean that they're
maybe
totally
you are
done,
alive in some.
yeah, or
Right.
you kill the person who's casting the spell, and then maybe you go back. I don't know. The reason why I'm asking is because of like Quan Chi and her people. You know,
And
what I
her
mean?
dialogue.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think.
Right.
like
I think her dialogue implies that they are still alive in some sense, maybe in some like subconscious locked state where they're just watching through the eyes or whatever. They can't do nothing because
Sure.
yeah.
they were
Yeah.
acting like humans. They're like, crying like, oh, obviously in anguish or whatever. Denji's like, oh, this fucked up, and he's like, oh, they're not alive, they're just acting that way. And he's like, how do you know? And he's just like, well, if you believe it that way,
Yeah, then you can kill
Right,
them.
right.
kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of implied in a sense that they are really
I do
Still
agree.
alive,
I do
yeah.
agree with you, because the doll devil generally, Santa Claus or whatever, she's giving them orders,
Yeah.
right? Like,
yeah.
chase Yuji, kill Yuji.
Denji.
If she, sorry, yeah, Denji. The G.
That's hard.
Yeah, but anyway, kill Denji.
I've
If
done it.
if she was going to give orders of, you pretend to be this kind of person and say, I'm afraid, and you pretend to be this kind of person and say, oh, don't kill me, like it seems hard to navigate for an
Yeah.
ability user, you know what I mean? To say like, all of you be like the kind of person you were before I turned you into a doll.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, I would not be surprised if there was the remnants in them
Yeah.
of these dolls, of their past,
Yeah.
human personalities or whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
But
We're
next
gonna
chapter, next
Sorry,
chapter
keep
is like will be a good like gauge for how the ability system works. Like in terms of say One Piece, where you get knocked out as a Delphi user and your ability turns off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like all the stuff you did, it's done now because you got knocked out.
Yeah.
This will be a good rule once we get next chapter of if she is dead, what does happen to those
Yes,
dolls. I think
yes.
this would be a great rule.
Yes.
Definitely.
Now that you bring that up, that's crazy because like, how is going to sleep any different than getting knocked out?
I don't think it is different.
Other than the concussion,
Um,
there's no difference, right? So why is the devil fruit user? I hate to just kind of derail the conversation here, but why is
Right.
the devil fruit user does all your abilities not deactivate and everything like that when you just go to sleep?
That's a great question that we should save
You know,
for
That's
a
just
potential One
something
Piece
that is-
segment.
that will not go into. Fuck it, fuck it.
yeah.
Chainsaw Man. That's actually all I had to say for Chainsaw.
That's all I
This
had
was
as well.
quick. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, kick
off.
Oh,
I got
we
one
got-
thing, one more thing. Just the only thing is, we still don't know what happened to Chuan Chi. Like, she got stabbed in the stomach.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
I thought
Right.
we would get something, just
Right.
something in
We'll
this.
probably
you
get
don't
that
think
next
so,
chapter.
but
Yeah.
something that's gonna kill her, right?
Yeah.
No, not being a devil
one stab
hybrid.
to
No,
the gut.
I don't think. But they were saying, can she be turned into a doll? So now,
Right,
what
right.
if maybe Master is maybe she's dead, maybe she's incapacitated, whatever she is, and now he has to fight Chuan Chi. Maybe she
man.
does get turned into a doll.
But what,
Although with
oh,
the positioning of the
okay.
stab, it might be like actual.
Yeah, it was
heart
like right dead.
location, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters to hybrids, especially if they drink blood, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident.
Wait,
True.
you think every no, I don't think every hybrid is immortal. I think it's only Chainsaw that's immortal.
Yeah,
and it's not
'cause
it's not
Chainsaw's
Chainsaw,
definitely
it's
special.
Pochita.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Pochita inside of Denji that is making him
but
immortal, right?
The other hybrids get so Retsei is blowing herself up constantly. How is she like?
But that's her
reconstructing
ability.
herself?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Katana Man gets worked and beat the fuck out of, and he basically reconstructs, too. Like, I mean, it seems like they.
I'm not saying you can't drink blood to regenerate. That you definitely can.
Yeah.
But I don't think maybe I'm
If
wrong.
you're dead,
I
can somebody
I
pour
never
blood in your mouth and rev your engine and you come back alive?
Yeah, I don't
No.
think anyone else
No,
has
I
the
don't
special
think that.
ability of being basically immortal. I think Denji is the only one who's basically immortal, and that's like all this drama, right? Of like trying to get Denji. I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
Yeah,
Denji
yeah.
was drowned, right? And then when he
Well,
killed
because
He's been
himself
killed
in
like
Retsei,
he's
Yeah.
been killed tons
When he
of
killed
times.
But
himself
you have
in
to
Red
take
super
his
killed.
heart specifically.
he was dead,
Yeah.
and Beam brought him back to life. I don't know if he poured blood in his mouth at that time or if he just revved the engine.
Yeah, I
but
don't
I mean,
remember
hasn't he
on
been
that
like hasn't he been crushed to death? Hasn't he been like chopped
Like
into pieces?
completely
I don't know,
evaporated. Like yeah.
like
Eviscerated,
gone,
yeah.
like super
yeah.
gone.
Yeah. And
he
I
was
think
chopped into pieces for sure. I don't remember
Yeah.
him being.
and
Maybe he
and
was
I think
crushed,
and
too.
I think
don't
it
know.
was I think it is Pochita like Nickums was saying, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because that's why they're like, we need this man's heart. Like you need to take his heart
Yeah.
away.
And there's that scene of like
Yeah.
there's this like locker within his mind or his
Yeah.
body,
Mhm.
and it's
Door.
like and Pochita or
The door
someone was
he's not
saying
supposed
like
to go into.
yeah, like don't go in that door, and it's like that's not the chainsaw ability. I don't think that's Pochita or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But
Or
though
Chainsaw, like
was
maybe-
Pochita the previous chainsaw fiend or something? I don't know because he was like a
It's
chainsaw
hard to
dog
say.
or
They,
something.
Well,
they all
Pochita-
have a catalyst though, like to
Right.
start their engine, right? Like
Yeah.
grab my
Yes.
arrow out of my eye.
was the
or,
Katana Devils again?
Pull my. Huh?
What was the
I don't remember what the Katana
remember that one,
Devils
yeah.
was.
I think he
The
just
Katana
pulled off his
Devil, I'm
hands
pretty
and
sure
had
he had to-
swords.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're Katana Man.
Just took off his fake hand.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Dororo.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
But with Pochita, I think it was kind of implied that was like maybe Chainsaw himself.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
I don't know what. Okay, we believe it's Chainsaw who reincarnates devils. So who would
Mhm.
reincarnate or rebirth? Bring back to square one. Chainsaw.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what Pochita is. It's like Chainsaw Devil original, square one.
Yeah.
you know?
Sure.
So
Sure.
like that's maybe the inside the locker in Denji's mind is like the actual like fully developed, evolved Chainsaw Devil.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like so if he ever opens up that door, it won't be Pochita,
Right.
but it'll be like Chainsaw Devil, like
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy, scary ass fucking.
Just the Texas
Right.
I don't know.
Chainsaw Massacre guy.
Like the one that actually every devil is the one that actually every devil is so fucking terrified
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah.
The like
Yeah.
chainsaw. Like you can't imagine every devil being so afraid of fucking Pochita.
No, they are
you know?
scared of him, and it's crazy to think that like even the primal fear devils are scared of Chainsaw, and it's like the devils can experience fear, and you can use that against them the same way as like fear fuels these the power of these
Right.
devils.
Right.
So That's pretty crazy, but that's
Yeah.
we'll get to that later.
I'm not
when
sure we're
that
going to be able
comes
to
into
figure out
play.
the nuances of the locker and chainsaw and all this stuff like
Sure.
at this
Yeah.
point in the story. But
Yeah,
Right,
not
right.
today for sure.
yeah, definitely this is like I love
biggest
that
question.
there's still mystery.
Yeah,
There's still mystery
the
here.
three biggest questions are like, what is Chainsaw? What is Makima? What is the Gun Devil?
Right. Yeah.
Three
definitely,
biggest
definitely,
Chainsaw Man mysteries.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
me
it.
too. Well, with that, then we can go ahead and move into chapter 177
Do we
of
got
the
it?
Promised Neverland. Mother.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Mama.
All right. So blah 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 blah. Find redemption.
Word to mother, you can skip
Great.
me
Great
on this.
chapter.
Yeah, well,
This
see-
chapter, no, like the end of this, like, you know, there is some wonky shit going on with this demon, and just he's just kind of like, I don't know.
One demon's got you like this, the other
But
demon.
the end of this
Yeah,
chapter,
yeah.
yeah, one just comes and swipes his fucking head off. you
Yeah,
know.
so like I'm
But
very
the end
okay.
of this chapter, the moment between her and the children
Yes,
was
beautiful.
actually really touching for me.
Beautiful.
I
It
liked
was.
it.
I love
Yeah,
it.
The
no,
one-
no,
the
it
one
was.
thing-
I
the
literally
moment, like
almost like dead
Noxie
ass.
said-
We be talking shit, but I really teared up at the end of this.
Like
chapter.
Noxie
Yeah.
said
I mean,
last week, you know,
I would have if it was a good story.
Well, you know, I think I agree with Noxie in this sense because he brought this up last week where, you know, even though the story has kind of declined, there are moments, you know, we originally loved this story. It was great. We thought, you know, now we don't so much think that anymore, at least, you know, maybe not all
In
of us.
recent,
Some of us.
Yeah.
30 chapters, yeah.
But there are moments that we have been waiting for because of how attached we were to this shit in the beginning. So
Yeah.
there's moments
Right.
that for me are still meaningful, and this was one of those. Like,
Yeah,
where-
this
No,
hit.
no, no, I agree.
This definitely hit, but but at the same time, I'm upset. So like, I'm pretty sure that this demon that showed up out of nowhere last chapter and kills, you know, and garrotes or whatever, you know, stabs Isabella is that one original demon
that
from
was
the
sent out.
Gracefield
Was it
house
you that
art.
said that, or was it Nick? can't remember.
I was
I question who the fuck is this guy?
yeah, and then I was
and
like,
then
I'm pretty
Noxie
sure.
was like, I think
yeah,
it's
I'm
that
pretty sure
original
this
demon
is-
that got sent out.
Yeah, this is the demon. Like, this is like the first demon we saw in the series, right? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like when Connie, you know, like died, and then you see that like demons are, you know, you get the plot basically from the first chapter,
Right.
and then you
Right.
have that like one main demon that like Isabella is reporting to. Then the Gracefield House kids escape. That demon goes to chase after them, and then it gets cut off
Right.
by Sung-ju, and then that's the
Right.
last. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm pretty sure this is that guy.
I think you're right. I think
But
you're right.
still, the fact that he just like comes in out of nowhere, hits Isabella, then another demon comes out of nowhere, incapacitates him. Like it's like this is just an injected, you know, plot device to, you know, drive the chapter emotionally to, you know, invoke the
Right.
emotions that Caillou Shira like wants you to feel in this moment. I don't think
Right.
Isabella needed to die
and
here.
And what's funny
it
is
has to be
that-
something.
Yeah, like
And what's funny is the demon gets not
it's
the
so
demon
injected.
that swipes his head off does not even get a panel after that.
yeah, yeah.
Right, right.
It's literally just swipe,
Well, that
arrest him, and then nothing else.
And then
though,
he's
though
just
that
gone.
demon did
What do you
get
mean
other
arrested?
panels
Just-
last chapter or whatever, or 2 chapters
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just one of the soldiers that are pro.
But wasn't he there with like Leovis?
law.
So like, how far away
Yeah. No,
are
no,
they
I-
from this area?
I don't want to go into this. I don't want to go into these
They already
nuances.
capital.
The message was relayed that, like, you know, Sun
Yeah.
Tzu, the
And they were
kingdom,
said
you know,
go to the
farms are done.
farms and
Oh, yeah,
dismantle
okay.
them.
Obviously, this dude is pissed and revolting because he's like, I'm not living without farms. So like, they got the news, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that like there was only one thing I really didn't like about the chapter, and that was you know, Isabella has the hand through her torso or whatever, and
Yeah.
and Ray is about to take a shot. He's like, oh, I missed. I'm gonna take another shot. And she's like, what I forget her name, but the girl with the glasses. She's like, wait, if you shoot now, it'll impact Mom's wounds. I was just like, come on,
Gilda.
just Gilda, just let him shoot
Gilda,
the guy.
yeah.
Just let him do this. Come on, like, is this really a big
Yes.
deal?
Yes.
Now, but on the plus side, I do agree with you, Noxie and Eagle. Like, I do think this was a good emotional chapter. I mean, like almost the whole premise of the story is that besides like it's really fucked up to have like farms of eating sentient beings or whatever, and
Yeah.
like you shouldn't do that or whatever. But like the whole premise of a lot of these conflicts is the humans are all victims. Every single human in this universe is a victim,
Mhm.
and it's not their fault that they were just doing their best. They were trying to do whatever they thought was right in terms of furthering their own life and their friends' lives and stuff, and she should have redemption. You know what I mean? Like she did love them. She did love them on the one hand, and she was feeding them to demons on the other hand. But but she didn't want to do that either. I don't know. Right. So it's like as much as I think it's a little wishy-washy of a premise or whatever, it was, I think, a very solidly emotional, and like you really felt it in these panels.
But like,
and I think it was a good.
It still felt shallow, and it still felt like it wasn't enough, because you would think that Isabella would have specific dialogue with the main three. Like she would say something specifically to Emma. She would say something specifically to Ray. She would say something specifically to Norman. Norman didn't say a single fucking word.
Sorry for shipping your bitch ass out.
Norman didn't have a single speaking line in this chapter.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like he hasn't for like the last like 3 or 4 chapters he hasn't said a word.
At least they gave Ray the This is my actual birth mother.
Yes.
Like, let's have that moment, and they did have that moment. But I do agree with you, Noxie, that it would have been really nice to have I'm sorry for standing in your way.
Yes.
When you were trying to help all of humanity in this universe, I personally stood in your way, and I'm sorry. And she did not say that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's not enough.
We got what we got. I don't know.
I mean, but and it's fine. The moment was touching. It's like I was saying last week. It's like as much as, and like Eagle was going into, as much as the series is clearly, in our opinions, on the decline, there are still certain aspects of it that like we love to see them, highlight.
Come to a resolution.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean. Like there are things like from before we started not liking the series that we're still seeing in these chapters, and and it's for that reason that we haven't completely dropped it.
And I just want to say, I mean, I haven't really said anything about this segment because as a rule, I don't really care, and I don't want to, and we can just skip to the next one. And I mean, hey, for the last like 10 weeks at least, 10 chapters at least, I've been saying, give me to the next. I don't even give me to Black Clover, and who says that, right? And so it was emotionally compelling, and it was really well done. That as much as I have not cared for so long, I still was like, okay, yes, this was fairly done well. For what you had to work with here, you know, that it was good enough, and as probably, the number one person here where I'm just like, next me, let me get on the next one. I when I read the chapter, I was like, okay, I don't want to read this anymore, but I'm glad that it did hit. It did hit, and I don't like the manga anymore, but the chapter was still decent, and I just hope that we're done next week.
I think we have 3 more chapters at least.
I think you're right. I think 180 is a good number to round off.
That would make sense. That would make sense. I mean, I wouldn't.
If they want to stretch it,
3 more.
200.
Wow.
No.
Bro, how are you going to stretch that? That's crazy.
I'm going on strike. You're just going to have to put strike on my picture during the fucking, Promised Neverland fucking segment. I'm just going to say strike.
15 chapters in the human world?
If they want to delve into the human world and the way it works.
For what though?
For what reason? Like, why would you introduce a whole new realm and a whole new thing that you're not going to go into?
Done.
And just to say, oh, isn't this pretty cool? Too bad.
15 chapters?
Just to solidify, like, this truly is like the paradise you imagined.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you could show that in you could show that in 2 chapters max.
Well, you can do that in like 1 or 2 chapters.
Yeah,
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
This manga has bombed at the Apollo. It's about to get the hook.
The vaudeville hook, the fucking
exit stage left.
Well, with that, then we can move right into chapter 250 of Black Clover.
Friday Brundaroo.
Charmy versus Halbe. I don't know if it was Halbit or I thought
actually
it was more
would
French kind of Halbe pronunciation.
I agree with you.
The other villains have been French-ish.
Civoir. I agree with you.
Now, as much as I appreciate the direction that Black Clover is going in with these flashbacks of these trainings And
Yeah,
you know,
it's just
in
kind of
these-
weird. The Spirit Guardians got sunned, and now
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah. So yeah,
This one made more sense.
This
we keep going, but I'll
Yeah.
give it to you why this one actually
Well,
makes sense this time.
It's just like now that we're on like the third, you know, in a row, you know, like kind of situation like this one feels a little bit more Marvel Comics, DC Comics, like monster of the week, like villain of the week, and like,
Yes.
and her dialogue is specifically like, "Now, Charmy, you'll never be able to defeat my hair powers that I'm going to take over the world with." You know what I mean? Like it like the dialogue just felt like so Doctor Strange villain. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And it's like
So
it was just so cheesy to me, but I still love that.
there was
we're getting-
foreshadowing on this defeat, though.
Yeah.
Of what's his name, Patroff. This is the first time there's actually foreshadowing on the Spirit Guardians' defeat. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, a couple of chapters ago, like maybe 10 or so ago. But Patroff could not attack Charmy. Charmy's magic went through Patroff's plant magic. The cotton magic went through it, just like her hair, and just like Halbay's talking or whatever.
Yeah.
Bebe.
Bebe.
Is talking about how Bebe is talking about how this is affinity, right? Like our magics are going through each other, you know?
Yes.
So there actually was foreshadowing on
Right.
why this, you know, Spirit Guardian was defeated. So for the
Right.
first time. So at least
And
that's good.
the introduction of the concept of affinity here, or I don't know if it's being introduced here, but it's
It's
being
not,
like
but yeah.
further elaborated
Expounded
upon.
upon,
Expounded upon. I really like that about this chapter.
Yes, absolutely.
There's things I like about this chapter, and there's things I don't like about this chapter, and that is one of the things I like about this chapter. For
Yeah,
sure.
and as much as I was making fun of like the, you know what I mean, like the comic book villain, you know, and one thing that I can even say is that this Spade chick is definitely Medusa from the Inhumans, if you want to Google that. But,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
definitely, you know,
I
like
already know what you're talking about. Yep.
yeah, like but another thing is that like I feel like as far as these one-off villains go inside of like
Trash.
Spade Kingdom, like yeah, like you want it, like, you know what I mean, like I understand, you know, like what
Trash.
their point is there, you know what I mean, but like they just feel like mindless zealots, you know what I mean, like we get their personality, you know what I mean, like this chick's all about her hair, she's all about beauty. We got the skin guy, he's
I think they're
Skin-
definitely pawns.
yeah, and they're definitely pawns, but it's like, and I understand that they're only here for one chapter to
Pawns
get
that
and then,
beat the Guardians.
yeah, they beat the
Right,
Guardians.
Choso's
They're
a
for,
pawn.
like, yeah.
Choso's a
Weird.
pawn, right?
Choso's a pawn, but, like, look
think
at the
about how
difference there.
well he's written. Yeah,
you
definitely.
know what I mean? Yeah, so I mean, it's just like I understand that Black Clover is a completely different story, but like it just feels so flat that, you know, these little like mindless zealots of the Spade Kingdom, you know, are just here, like it's so, you know, it's so okay, you show up, you're a threat, you beat someone that's a big deal, that increases the stakes, you know what I mean, and then one of the main cast shows up, defeats them, gets development, you know what I mean, like I understand
Right.
like what they're there
Yeah.
for, but I just feel like
Yeah.
execution wise, it's just like I'm going through this chapter and the art is very beautiful. I love any chapter with Charmy in it. Charmy is my favorite character in this entire series.
I was
You know
just
what I
gonna
mean?
say, bro,
Yeah.
she's proven again.
She should have
this
been the
chapter.
fucking main character, in my opinion.
I like
So,
Charmy,
in-
and
Yeah,
I
but-
know Nickums has been on the fence about Charmy, so let's hear it.
I actually do have a very big pro about Charmy in this chapter.
Thank you. Good.
And I will.
I
to
like
tie,
her.
to and yeah, I'm she's growing on me. She's growing on me. But let's tie it back to Cinderella,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Cinderella Gray, you know, she has this fable connection. This fable connection. Charmy is continuing this pattern. Did you notice it? The wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Fucking
yes.
awesome!
Yes.
I am all about this.
Yeah.
Like I love this. I'm okay with it.
Tabata's got a
Yeah,
lot
definitely.
of really, really good ideas in this story.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
That
But,
worked. That worked for me.
Like,
That
you can
I
have
was
a
like,
bunch
oh,
of really
cool.
good ideas
Oh,
and
nice.
like execute them poorly. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
Um,
The backhanded compliment, my favorite.
Hey,
I thought it was well. I don't know. I thought that was well.
No,
Yeah,
no,
me too. And actually-
yeah. This
Yeah, go ahead.
specifically,
Go ahead.
is done well. And when you say it the way that you did it, the execution is there for that. I just wanted to be funny.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I gotta give a little bit of history because
Yeah.
in a group chat a while ago, well, during the Elf arc when Charmy first transformed,
Yeah.
Nick was like, I don't like this at all, and I said,
Ooh.
What was your problem?
Well, and I told him how much I did like
dwarves out of nowhere. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
And what I told him, at the time, when there's elves,
elves were explained for dozens of chapters,
Yeah.
and dwarves are just pulled out of nothing.
Yeah.
It's not pulled out of nothing. It's pulled out of fucking European. No, it's European fucking lore. You know, like it's fucking Lord of the Rings type lore shit.
Yeah,
right? Like
no. It does feel like it's pulled out of nothing because we only have one dwarf.
This is what medieval stories. It did
reorient us to that it is a medieval story. It isn't just humans and elves. It is actually humans and elves and whatever else you can think of in this sphere. That's fine.
Yes.
But at the time, it was completely random.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this too. And this was another argument that I had for her at this time is her last name, Pappy's son. There is, I can't tell you which fucking literature this comes from, but like me playing MMOs and shit back in the day, like EverQuest, right? Like all the dwarfs in EverQuest, their last name ended in son. They were somebody's son.
Nordic. So they're like Nordic, right?
Like exactly right. Like Nordic.
And,
Eric's son. And Olsen and all that kind of shit. Exactly right. And that's how the dwarves were named. And there is lore based in that. I can't tell you where it's from, but that made a lot of sense to me when it happened. It clicked. I was like, oh shit, that reminds me of EverQuest. Which, you know, if you're 30 years old, you might remember EverQuest from 1999 or 2001.
Well.
Definitely do.
Something I want to say about like.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Eagle. Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say the pacing is like peculiar to me because one thing, I don't know, it's always been pretty quick, but like I'm getting this feeling with this chapter and like these last few chapters where obviously this spirit guardian shit is really weird. Like they're like, oh, these spirit guardians are so strong, they're gonna train you, and then they get 6 one shot. Later, they're getting sunned, and then we're beating the people that beat them. So like, what the fuck's going on there?
Right. I would definitely
with
say
the
that
pacing and with where the story is at, I almost think maybe we think this story is going to be a little longer than it actually is going to be, because unless they. For one, the pacing is getting really weird and wonky, and people are beating people that they maybe not should be able to beat.
Yeah. Should take 2 chapters, but like, not one.
Unless they're going to expand out into the rest of the world after this arc, what can they really do at least on this continent? Because like Diamond Kingdom is buddy because Mars supposedly has taken over Diamond Kingdom, and he's buddy with Asta.
But they got
buddy with Heart now. Mm-hmm. So the only one that we got to fight now is Spade. And if we beat Spade and these devils, and Asta somehow learns to control his devil and have dominion over it,
how much more story?
What else is the story going to do? Right. Yeah. So I think maybe this story is kind of maybe being rushed to an end here in some fashion. And also another thing I'll say is I think Choso's more of a cog, not a pawn.
What'd you say?
Okay.
I think Choso is more of a cog, not a pawn.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't need to go into the difference. We're going to start talking about.
No, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're going to start talking about Jujutsu Kaisen.
Let me throw in another pro actually that I thought about Charmy here in this chapter. To get back to Charmy a little bit.
Body positivity.
That's awesome. I do like that, and her butterball form is adorable, and I really I'm really liking that.
Yeah, now, 10 out of 10 would cuddle.
yes. I'd squish that. Squeeze that tummy. But I like, so basically all these chapters, these past 3 chapters are however you consider to be written, poorly written, well written, or whatever. All these chapters are one in a row, are all showing the capability of these runes, these glyphs, these whatever you want to call them, right?
Yes.
The arrays, you know. So glyphs here we have another expounding of the array concept, and this is magic evolution. Would you call it? I don't know. Like taking food magic and evolving it. How do you make food? You cook. Yeah. You cook. So now it's cooking magic. I think this is actually pretty cool. I actually, it's not. We'll have to see if there's another application of this, because like I don't know, I can't think of another example that you would do besides food and cooking, but like I do like the idea.
To add onto this.
Yeah. You take from here. I'm just saying that I like this direction.
Yeah.
So the thing that I really wanted to add on,
reminiscent of the Opie no Mi. I don't know why, but I just got that feeling like when she cast
just because it's a sphere
and the circle came up. Well,
Sure.
ingredients in a pot seemingly appeared. A pan seemingly appeared out of nowhere.
Mhm.
So it's like,
Yep, I'm glad you said that too before I even go into my thing. But yeah, keep going.
it just, I got the feeling that within that space of arrays, that's a space where this, her and her food magic and this wolf can manipulate that area freely, make ingredients, that pan, whatever appear, and just, do basically like I said, almost like she said, room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So, ingredients equal enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Kitchen equals array, and they're cooked and eaten. And you see these glyphs and you see the array, and you're like, how does this really fit into natural magic or whatever, right? But cotton is grown, food is grown or born, and it makes sense that you could just consider both her food / cooking magic and cotton magic are both, like derivatives of earth magic, right?
Sure.
Like, or whatever you want, nature, whatever. But it's those are definitely natural attributes, because that was the one thing when I first seen this, I was like, okay, we got fire, we got lightning, what the fuck is food? And you have to think about it a little bit,
What is food?
Yeah, what is food?
Yeah, what is
And
food?
stuff are made of ores that would come from the earth,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, the pans, yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's really, I just wanted to talk about that, because with this natural magic shit, we need more, right? Like we kind of need to know what's going on here, and it makes sense why now, because at first, like, you're looking at the flashbacks, like, why the fuck they bring Charmy? Like, who gives a fuck about Charmy? And it's not like, I don't really mean it like that, because I love Charmy as far as Black Clover characters go.
Yeah.
But she's not in the forefront of your mind of Black Bulls, right? You're like, why is Magna not here when he has fire magic?
Yeah.
But we had Leopold instead. Okay, we got our fire guy. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But still, you're when I first saw this, I was like, why the fuck is Charmy here? Like, I just that really I didn't sit well with me. But after this chapter, it kind of clicked, where I'm like, okay, this is natural magic, just the natural course of nature, right? Like, prey and predator.
Cotton is a plant, so bringing Charmy along to a nature type zone, as in Heart Kingdom, I think makes total sense, because cotton is a plant, even though her ability looks more like making a big ram out of cotton balls, which kind of then you associate with fabric and less about plants. But like, definitely her ability is like plant based or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's good to have like the ending line of like, nutrition, is real power or whatever it was.
Let me jump in here a little bit.
She's shooting boy right in her neck or whatever, like.
Yes. Now let me jump in here, because this actually is the thing I hated most about this chapter. And let me tell you why. So this enemy, Halbei, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She goes on this rant about how you don't need food to live. You need nutrition, and let me inject some vitamins into my neck. Some
she
nutrients.
Work at GNC supplements.
Yeah, let me inject some nutrients into my neck. Now you can see why. You can see so clearly why you would make this like dichotomy against Halbei versus Charmy, because Charmy likes to eat and she doesn't care, and Halbei doesn't care about eating. But Halbei didn't know she was going to be fighting Charmy.
Exactly right.
Like this
is weird about this.
This is completely made up, worthless ad. This doesn't make any sense. This is sheer coincidence. Why would you make such a big deal about this nutrition stuff? This is trash writing. Like, this is the worst part of this chapter.
There needed to be preamble to this, and it wasn't right?
There had to be a different chapter of them arguing about like, oh, I like eating. Well, I don't care about eating. At least give us that. Give us something. Why?
At least the panel about her being bulimic. Even if they just give her a panel about her being bulimic, like when they introduced all the spirit or the devil disciples or whatever.
Well, I mean, she's talking about like being beautiful,
gangster
and she's
disciples
about,
or whatever.
Like, being hot. You know what I mean?
It's like Tabata said, like, oh, other mangaka, they make some cool point about how this fight is actually deeper than the fight. It's actually about a message of something versus something that's not the fight. So it's like bulimia or nutrition or vitamins versus eating a lot of food because it's fun to eat food, because and so let's take it to the next level. Let's up these characters with some development. This is It's awful. It's completely awful. I hate it.
This
is
is how you get. This is Nickums at 100% right there.
I love it. I love
This
every
is
moment
awesome.
of it.
Food to pyramid. No, awful.
It's so good, so good. But you have an incredible point. You have an incredible point. It does seem very injected.
It does make
weird.
it. If anyone can tell me why this makes sense, throw it in the comments because it doesn't make any sense. I demand you try and prove me wrong.
Yes, there needed to be warming up to this, and there never happened.
You needed warm up.
Exactly. But hey, at least I can say that Charmy did season Halbay, and season Hater's been giving her them healthy looks, right? You know, there's some Lowry's. Yeah, Lowry's. Lowry's is in there for sure, right? I'm happy to see her season her food personally.
I'm happy with that JoJo ending. La 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 la.
Hey, IDEO was very happy with this chapter.
I actually really liked that. Actually,
IDEO from One Piece.
No, IDEO.
Dio-sama. Oh, I thought you were talking about. Okay, obviously Dio.
Yep.
Wow.
But yeah, that's really all I
That's
had.
all
I had.
Oh yeah, did we talk about how amazing the fucking art was inside of the cotton and food magic though?
Oh no,
it's solid art,
man. I mean,
I just love whenever Charmy uses abilities because I think that her like cotton golem is just so beautifully designed, and like the first time that Charmy was introduced in the series, when you see like this little girl that like is going to turn up because like she's being like made out to be like weak, and then like eventually she's gonna activate, and I didn't know exactly what that was going to look like, and then you just see a gigantic cotton fucking ram punch shit out of like, I was like, that was a beautiful introduction to this power and this character, and whenever Charmy has been on screen since then, I've been like extremely hyped because I just love the way that this ram looks. And then when it goes into the wolf, even though like when that first happened, bro, like I was kind of like turned up, even though I really don't like the elf arc. That was like, even though that's Nick's like least favorite like moment or whatever in the elf arc, maybe, I don't know, but he has his criticisms.
Probably.
That was when I was like, this is tight as fuck looking, you know what I
liked
mean?
it too.
Yeah,
That's
like
fine,
I liked
I
it,
guess.
but like thematically, like now that Nickums brings up his criticisms, I'm like, okay. Yeah, but I just love
that there was
Charmy's
no warming
magic.
up to dwarfs either. I get it. Like like we needed like
you need
expansion
a connection
on the story, but we also need it to connect and work seamlessly into the story, not just
No one loves things that are randomly injected
dwarfs
out of nowhere and then not further expounded upon. Like, I mean, like they could go into dwarves after this, and they probably will. But like,
I hope so.
But I mean,
they have to at some point, right?
You better.
Tabata's got to.
It does feel very random right now until we get that later exposition. Right. But but I mean, like the whole injecting.
I saw some other people commenting that this wolf ability is like Toriko, like fork and knife.
Yeah.
It does feel like very Toriko.
I mean, she had nothing like she was shooting boy. And all of a sudden she's Superboy. Okay, shooting that Ron, bruh.
Yeah, that Ron
Charmy is good on me.
No Cameron Swanson out here tonight.
All right, are we good?
That's all I had.
We are good. Yep. We are good.
All right.
With that, then we can go ahead and get into chapter 271 of My Hero Academia, Dark Cloud.
Yes,
it's a pretty big chapter.
Loved this. Okay, so I'll start it off. So I loved this chapter. Tokoyami's my favorite character in Class A. He has been since the start of the series.
Yeah, me too.
And that's never once changed. You know what I mean? Like I love Midoriya. I love everybody.
Mine changed to Kirishima for a period of time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I always knew that Tokoyami was my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. And like all of these characters have their like spotlights that like make you go, holy shit, yes, I'm team, Kirishima, I'm team Todoroki, I'm team Bakugo, whatever. Yeah. But in the back of my head at all times, in my heart of hearts, I knew at all times Tokoyami was that guy to me, number one. Yep, he gets such good like feats, you know what I mean, like throughout like his development, even though he's not like really in the forefront. Obviously he's not a Todoroki, he's not a Bakugo, he's not a Midoriya, he's not even a Kirishima.
They're lucky he's not, because he's number one hero. Fuck them.
Yeah, even though he doesn't have as much thematic weight as the main cast of Class 1A, he still gets, like, you could tell Kohei really loves this fucking character.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that he breaks out of Fat Gum's belly and you get the dialogue that where Fat Gum's like, no one's ever done that before. That's an amazing feat for Tokoyami.
That's crazy.
I mean, it makes sense
just
why
like the
he did,
just like the
though.
Redestro, chapter, and the Redestro, him versus Redestro a couple chapters ago, even him in like the fucking forest training arc, just manhandling, like one of the villains entirely. Like he was the only one that low diffed a villain, you know what I mean, in that arc.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he just gets such amazing moments. You know what I mean? And anytime he talks, his dialogue is incredible. But I just
the fact that like Dark Shadow like can kind of sometimes go berserk if it's too dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, like Todoroki is like getting better at controlling, or Tokoyami is getting better at controlling Dark Shadow.
Yeah.
But like Dark Shadow, that ability is, I think, in the tier of approaching the the uncontrollable aspect of
singularity.
the singularity, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yes, exactly right.
It's definitely a high-powered ability for sure.
And I just love how you get moments where his power is running rampant because it's too dark, and then you get opposite moments where in this chapter where he's fighting Dabi, and
he's the only stand user, right? Like that's Magician's Black, right?
Yes, Magician's Red. Yeah. Magician's Black. I see.
He's just a really balanced character. You get moments where he's OP. You get moments where he's drastically underpowered, like in this chapter. He's just like, this is one of Kohei's favorite characters. That if it's not,
it lends itself to great writing.
Yeah.
This is an amazing scene where an overpowered stand or ability, like is weak or whatever. I love that. That just leads to great writing.
Yes.
Well,
it's great that
the uncontrollable.
Yeah.
It's really crazy in this chapter to see Dabi's skin like literally like getting crisped and roasted away as he's using his quirk.
Trying that
and also,
final blast. Yeah.
Before we move too far past it, I just want to say the cover art.
Yes.
Chapter,
oh my god!
I
love
spent literally probably 5-10 minutes just looking at this thing like, yo, and it might be hard to believe, but I'm Native American.
So, half native, baby.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, I spent a lot
Don't
of time
look it at all.
this, just really appreciating it. Like, man, this is fucking dope.
Yes,
super dope.
Just all the detail
and
the
like details
the
in the
just the rig.
Look at how blue his eyes is. You'll never tell he's native, can you?
Yeah.
Meet his dad once. Meet his dad once.
This page is like peak Kohei art, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like this is really high quality art. It's top tier art. This panel,
I love this
page anyway.
I agree.
I mean, Kohei, it's crazy. His art style is so. I mean, it almost feels like M.A.N.G.A, and obviously they're not the same in any way. But the fact that, man, Horikoshi can snap on mine. I wrote great panel of Dabi's skin burning off in his final blast, just Eagle just said, and I also wrote great panel of Tokoyami saving Hawks. Like you get a good look at his face where he's carrying him like this, and you get to like see like his fucking eyeliner, and like you get to like really see Hawks' face where like you didn't get. I feel like in the manga you don't get to see it this clear. Where like in the anime you kind of do, but like I don't know, just to me I always knew he had like the eyeliner like designs right here.
You're talking about page 17?
Page 17. Yep, exactly. Where he has the eyeliner right here. Like I always knew he had it right here, but I feel like I never knew that he had it on the outside that like cut out like this,
Yeah.
And I love that panel so much of Tokoyami blasting off, holding fucking Hawks, like that, and getting them out of there.
My favorite panel this week in this
love
chapter, my favorite panel is right after the cover page with Tokoyami over Hawks with Dark Shadow, putting his like his jacket over.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, over Hawks. That's my favorite. That's my favorite panel of
super
all of
good
Jump
too.
this week. Yeah.
And you know what Minetta's favorite panel is, right? Hey, tell me if Minetta was right there, he'd have sacrificed himself. He'd be out of the story. He'd be dead. He would have got smushed for the cause.
I saw a funny ass meme on somebody's Twitter that they made where it was you know that Michael Jordan documentary that just came out that everyone's using screenshots for of him like looking down at his phone or looking down at his laptop, and it's like Michael Jordan's face like looking at his phone like and then it's the ass picture like on his phone. It's like cut out and like put on his phone.
Yeah.
Let me just say though that like there's some times where we kind of criticize Hero's art. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's a little hard to follow.
Yeah.
It's the mass scale AOE shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me just say that
he's getting better at that too.
There are so many panels of Dobby and his burned skin, and Hawks and his burned skin, or Dark Shadow, or fucking Tokoyami. Like almost every panel. I'm just flipping through. Almost every panel is really, really, really good in this chapter.
Yes.
Like
the one where Dobby's shooting and his skin is burning, and then you get that little mini panel in the bottom left of Tokoyami reacting to it, and like half of his face is illuminated by the light source.
Yep.
Yes.
Fucking beautiful.
That's really
even
really
that
good
little
too.
tiny
and
fucking panel there.
Even two panels before that, where I mean, I don't know, like art wise. I'm not talking about art wise. Even though when the close up, you get to see Hawks' fucking face with Tokoyami like turning and seeing Dobby.
Yeah.
Which this is the thing. He's using propulsion on both his feet, exploding or whatever fire to
and didn't
to
we
hold
have a
himself in
conversation
place
about
in
like
air.
whether or not he could do that? Didn't we have a conversation where we thought that he could only shoot fire out of his hands?
That's before next time, but yeah, we did.
Okay.
And
I wanted to
because
make
we
sure.
were talking about how Bakugo is using, explosion to propulsion to, movement, propulsion movement.
Yeah. But he's got to be sweating out of his. He's got to be sweating out of his feet too.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that makes sense. No, because Bakugo was doing that. Bakugo did that to catch. When they were interning with Endeavor and they had to catch fucking, Orb Glass Man who was, sitting.
He used explosion out of his feet?
I want to say that he did. He used, no. Endeavor did. Endeavor shot himself like this. That's what we're talking about.
Endeavor,
That's what we're talking about. But why wouldn't Dobby be able to do that since he's, Endeavor's son? Right?
Well, and now that you say that, like Bakugo should be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Unless have we got?
I think he's using it. He's doing it as his hands, right?
Right,
he's
but
doing
like
the same thing, but with
his
hands.
quirk
Have we
is that
got
he
could, yes,
sweats
he could.
nitroglycerin.
He's only able to do it from his hands.
Yeah, so
I don't
maybe
think so.
specifically in the sweat glands in his hands are the ones that produce nitroglycerin, and then he's got sweat glands all over his body, obviously, but only the ones in his hands have evolved to a point to where they're secreting nitroglycerin.
I thought it was
That could be.
all of his sweat is nitroglycerin.
No,
So maybe if he does,
I
if he
also
does
thought
learn,
that it was
maybe
all
that's
of his
another
sweat.
thing he'll learn to evolve and do is propulsion fly.
Dude,
from his
imagine
feet.
a
even-
sweaty forehead and a headbutt. Bam!
Yeah.
Or
even
you're
if your
getting
hair is
attacked
sweating
from
in
the back.
If
But I
your
mean-
hair is sweating in the back, you blow the back of your shit up to propel the
See,
head.
like how much training
or
do
on
you
some
need?
Ida shit if he's gonna go and kick.
Yeah.
I'm talking
sweat on
about
the
getting
back of his
attacked from
calf.
the back.
He could
Yeah.
blow up
As
the
a
sweat on the back
defense,
of his
like
calf
a landmine.
to fucking.
But see, that's
Yeah.
the thing is that like these quirks are like muscles. So like the entire
They gotta
time that
be
he's had a
moved
quirk,
and used.
he's been doing it out of his hands. So he's built up the resistance to his explosions in his hands his whole life. If he headbutts someone and explodes the nitroglycerin on his face,
It would hurt his
that's
head.
a big deal. Yeah,
It would damage him.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like that's like he has no calluses or like built up repeated usage of explosion from any other part of his body. So yeah,
But at the
so-
same
we haven't
time,
seen
he's
it
only
on his
first
hands
year of
either.
high school.
Yeah, that's
he's only
true. That's true.
He's only first year of high
Well,
school.
we haven't
Like,
seen it on his
imagine,
hands either.
imagine 10 years from now.
What do you mean? Wait,
He's
what do
got to
you mean?
get the feet going.
What do you
We
mean?
haven't seen like explosion, marks or any kind of detriment to his hands. I mean, he says it hurts when he uses it, but we don't like Deku's got scars on his hands. And maybe we'll get that.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's more of a drastic
The one time
situation
though
for
when he
Deku.
was doing
With-
the huge explosion,
yeah, with the rhino
he did get his
howitzer.
bones cracking.
Or no,
and
no,
shit,
no.
and his shit creaking.
Not
and
rhino
Bones cracking,
howitzer.
yep,
That's
that's
one
good.
piece. But the howitzer you're talking about, right? The
Yeah, I believe it was the howitzer, the second shot of the
Yeah.
or no. Yeah, it was the second shot in the fight with was it
Whoever it was.
Todoroki where he was clearing all the debris and shit that was coming down.
Yeah. But I mean, like, but what I'm saying though is
Or
that
no,
like
Uraraka.
we haven't seen anything on his hands because like that's the most used part of his body that he uses for his quirk. Like he probably when he first found out about his quirk, his hands were probably fucked up, for like the first couple years of him having the quirk.
He's still gonna be dealing with like a whole calloused fucking like glazed hand of fucking dead skin.
Yeah, but
Like,
do
we
you
should
draw
see
that? Do you
Yeah,
draw
do you
that?
draw that?
I don't think
I don't
Like,
know.
if we ever get a
drew it on-
close up-
you drew it on Deku.
Yeah,
But
if
that's
we ever-
because that's a new addition though.
yeah, he just
That's
got
that's
that
a
quirk.
you saw him do that break.
I feel like I would like if you're gonna do it for a character like Deku. I mean, obviously he's your MC, but you should do it for your MC too.
Yeah.
Right? Your
maybe
Sasuke.
we'll will
or
get a
whatever.
close up. Like we've never gotten a close up of Bakugo's
Yeah.
hand specifically before.
Right.
Yeah,
So maybe that's there.
I would like
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah, maybe
And maybe
that's
it
there,
is.
yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
just saying,
yeah,
I would
yeah.
like to see it. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
yeah.
Right. So let's talk Hawks.
Yeah,
let's
let's
talk
talk
Hawks.
Hawks.
Yeah.
Is
Crazy.
he
So do
is
we
he
think
done?
He's lost.
I think
yeah,
he's
do
out
we
of
think
the
he's
fight.
lost his quirk.
No,
I mean,
that's
he's
what
out
I'm
of the
wondering.
fight for sure.
No, I like say for example, Overhaul. Overhaul's hands gone, quirk gone.
Oh
his,
yeah.
his back is completely burned.
Is
Can
Dobby
his wings no longer grow?
or sorry, is Hawks out? Is he done?
It might
Like
be,
because
it
of
might be.
his wings being burnt up.
His whole
Yeah, and his whole back.
Dark Shadow
whole
said his
back.
back was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like burned off.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
intense.
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very is very much so is. And I don't know. Maybe we want to talk about that more before what I talk about. It's related. In
Yeah,
the
go
fact
for
that-
it. Go for it.
Well, just that. So Dobby is a man of few words normally until
Yeah.
the fight cracks off, which are pro strats, right? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
knows he needs to buy time to use his explosions and whatnot. And like he says,
Love
hey,
it.
I threw
Love it.
I threw weak explosions at first to save my fuel for this big one right here. Boom, he was gonna blow him up,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
Giten, hits the full AoE ice over everything and blows his ass away.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know, like, so Dobby's like, hey, trying to convince Tokoyami that heroes are not all good. Like, hey, this is my boy right here, and he was just trying to protect his friends, yet he got stabbed in the back by Hawks, right? Like,
Yeah.
your boy did the shiesty thing and killed our guy, so obviously heroes aren't all good. Your guy's not good, and Tokoyami says, like, hey, I'm just trying to, like, hold my mentor down.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
trying to get into all this philosophical shit. But at the end of the day, I still don't know why Dobby doesn't say Hawks killed Best Genius. How about that shit?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like that's.
but-
I mean, we don't know that for sure. Sure,
Right,
if
right.
that's actually but
But
the
Dobby
evidence we
thinks
have
so
now,
at the
what we
very
ha-
least, right?
Exactly right, and that should have been what he used against Tokoyami at that point. Which, man, I just wish that was the case, because that would have really. I feel like that would rattle any hero, that this hero killed the number 4 hero to ingratiate himself with us because he's IQ 420 out here
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
like outthink us all and do all this shit, but yet he had to deliver us a sacrifice, and he killed Best Genius to give it to him to even get in our unit. Like it's that's just a missing. I feel
Well,
like that's
let's-
you dropped the ball. I feel
I will
Or,
totally
like,
agree with you
unless he wants to. Well, I was gonna say, yeah, unless he wants to let Tokoyami be on the fence, because, like, I mean, not even on the fence, be more so on the hero side and not so much be on the fence, because that would put anybody on the fence, I think. To me,
Right.
personally, like, if I
So
heard he killed the number 4 hero to get involved with us to begin with, to even get in, and he was working with us on all this time, even if he was working as a double agent, he still killed the number 4 hero to get in with us. Like, that's
So
that
here's
shouldn't have
here's
been
my
glossed
question.
over.
Yeah.
Here's my question to that specifically. So I would say personally that if we do find that Hawks did canon kill
Actually
Best
kill-
Genius, like we have proof, like dialogue proof,
Yep.
or like some sort of proof that is convincing that Hawks killed Best Genius, do you not think that this is a hole? I mean, you can always say like he didn't think to mention it at the time, but why?
I would say it's a firm hole. That's a huge hole.
So
And to me,
I'm just saying I agree with that. I think it's a firm hole that Dobby would say he killed Best Genius. I totally agree with you. And so
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is this almost is argument for me that he didn't.
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you, because that's
Yeah.
the only thing that makes sense at this point. Because if it did actually kill Best Genius, that's a hole, and that's Horikoshi fucked up there, because
Sure.
that should have been the buttons you were pressing against Tokoyami, a young impressionable hero who's looking up to these heroes and just stars in his eyes. Heroes are right. We're all doing the good thing. to
Unless
really
that
warp
dialogue is for Bakugo.
But
Dobby wouldn't
Why?
know that it should be for Bakugo, but I
Why-
can
Yeah,
understand.
that's the
Yeah,
problem.
I can understand that, like, the first time Kohei wants to give that information is to Bakugo. That
we've had-
confirmation.
I can agree with that.
confirmation
I
is
can
for
agree with that.
Bakugo. Yeah.
But then he should have never had Tokoyami come save him in the first place. Then
Yeah.
it should have panned out differently. This
Yeah.
whole situation. If you want to save that for Bakugo, you should have did it that way. Like that's not where we're going with this.
Unless so we could very
second...
easily get a flashback that where Hawks is like telling the villains about these kids and who they interned with, or maybe they just found out who they interned with, and Dabi is specifically saying, I need to say this to Tokoyami, I need to say this to Bakugo, I need to, you know what I mean? Like if his strategy is talking and distracting the people that he encounters, then obviously he's going to think about what he needs to say to who in order to buy himself enough time to use his powers effectively.
Yeah, that doesn't distract somebody more than fucking their whole psyche up on the fucking hero system.
Yeah, you're
like,
right. That's I'm just trying to make excuses for Horikoshi right now. I'm kind of succeeding.
I see where you're going with this, Noxie, and I do agree with you that. But wow,
saving it for Bakugo makes sense, but you should have executed it better then.
Here's my criticism. This is the second category, the second time that we're in this category of argument where, like, so say Dabi, he's Endeavor's son, but and the whole audience knows that he's Endeavor's son, and we still have gotten no clarification about it. Yeah. And so we said, like, well, it's not for us. It's for this other character. It's for Endeavor. So we're gonna hold it off. And so and now best genus, like it's not for Tokoyami. It's for Bakugo.
Yeah, those are handled poorly.
I am going to start saying too fucking bad. You can't keep using this. You can't say, that's for a different character. You can't keep saying that.
I've been saying it from the beginning.
But see, like the comparison you're making right now is the information that was given to one character is not for that character and it's supposed to be for another one, versus the information we're wanting is not for us. It's for a character in the series. That's not the same.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. No, I agree that those are different things, but I think it's worse in this situation.
Yeah.
No,
for sure.
But and also, why can't it be both? Why can't we get the information yet nobody else still knows? Yeah. Because that's what the author should do. Where if you're going to make this so obvious to everybody, you have to confirm it to us, but yet make it unclear to people in the story to make it that.
Why
that
do
makes
we
sense,
need the conversation when it's the confirmation when it's so obvious to us already?
But see,
because it's not supposed to be obvious. It's trying to make it look like it's not obvious, which is the
only thing that's obvious to us is that Dabi is Endeavor's son.
Yeah.
It is not obvious that Best Genus was killed by Hawks. Like that is maybe implied,
well,
but it's not obvious.
I'm talking specifically about Dabi being Toya. Kohei has given us like 7 different things that prove to us that Dabi is Toya. So like, do we really need the confirmation there?
I feel like he's only given us 2, and they're both fairly flimsy. And that even though it's still like, I mean, I would say 2 that are somewhere on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say it's 6 or 7 solid, right? Towards flimsy, right? Like the picture, the family picture is the big one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
really
the fact that and just all the dialogue on quirk singularity and how quirks start to exceed the power of your body and start to be a detriment to you. And that's clearly what's happening to Dabi. That's not up for debate.
Right.
But we have those firm things here.
And also in the Pro Hero arc, when Dabi showed up to specifically engage Endeavor with a very obvious demeanor that he knows who this motherfucker is. You know what I mean? Like that was the first really clear indication to me before this picture, before all of this talk about quirk singularity and detriments that your quirk can have on your body. The first thing that said Dabi is this missing kid to me, like definitively, was that scene with the hooded Nomu.
I don't want to say that it's something that's it's got to be like firm in stone or whatever, but it just seems like it's not it doesn't mesh well, it doesn't move well, the story it's like obstructing the story to me in ways where you like, why are we dancing around this at this point, right? Like we as readers, not as characters in the story, as readers should be already either on one side of this, like firmly, not we shouldn't be left in the dark, even though we're not. There's so like you said, there's so much evidence to say that Toya is Dabi. That if Toya is not Dabi at this point, we're gonna need fucking god level explanation.
Well, it creates these kind of conversations for one, which is definitely a positive thing. 2, like, please tell me why that information is needed at this point. Just because we know that we want it and we feel like we should have it by now. What moment in the story would have been, we should have gotten this information right here.
So
Needed
I would
is a
tell you,
subjective term.
I will
but
tell
go
you,
ahead.
Yeah.
I will tell you, and it's when Dobby had the black speech bubble against Hawks.
Yeah.
That black speech bubble is meaningless.
Is it?
Meaningless.
What if
Because
Kohei decides to say this is what he said in that situation, and it's not I'm Toya?
that would be
else?
the only that's the
Yeah.
only way to make
The
that
only
speech
Yeah,
thing-
bubble
the only
meaningful.
reason why that
right.
scene makes you mad is because you're positive, you convince yourself that the thing he said that's blacked out is I'm Toya.
If he is not Toya,
No.
holy
He just
cow.
might not have said I'm Toya in that speech bubble. He could have said something entirely different that was another thing that was relevant to him and Hawks'
I mean-
relationship.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I'm
Yeah.
working for All for One, and we're about to break him out, and it's about to be much worse than Shigaraki.
Exactly.
And
It
fuck
could
him.
literally be anything. We have just decided that he was saying I'm
It,
Toya
it,
there.
it could be
and,
something
and
else.
that's why
and I
we're
don't
like,
know
why
where-
didn't you give that to us?
That was
No,
a weird panel.
Nickums is
Yeah.
right. It is weird. It's weird, but it has to be. If it's not I'm Toya, that's a fail. It has to be
That speech
anything
bubble?
other than I'm Toya. Yeah. If it's I'm Toya and or
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
Endeavor's son,
Yeah.
that's a fail.
Yeah,
If it's I'm Toya and I actually work for All for One and we're about to kill Shigaraki and we're about to do all and he's taking his body. I mean, whatever. Like obviously that's going back last week to my
Yeah,
theory.
yeah.
But regardless, it has to be bigger than I'm Toya for it to be meaningful to me. I mean, because at this point, like nobody. I mean, I'm telling you, if my grandma read this manga right now and she's 90, she could figure out that's Toya right now. Like, and
Right.
and I'm telling you, she's not all there. She's got
There-
dementia. So
Yeah, and to go. I'm sure we talked about this in the chapter where there was the black speech bubble. But if the black speech bubble is I'm Toya, just write I'm Toya. I'm Endeavor's son. That there's no need to hide that information, and
Yeah,
so it better
at
not
this
be
point.
that. It better not be
no,
that.
it can't be that.
From
It
that-
has
from
to
that
be, I'm
speech
working
bubble.
for All for One, and we're
And also, we
we're
better
on
get
some
that
other
speech
shit.
bubble. We better get that speech bubble at some point,
Yeah, we have to.
uncensored. If you don't get that, that's also weird.
Yeah, it is also weird.
But I will say, to get back to the chapter, that I did not actually think that anything in this chapter was weird in that way. I know we're comparing this to Endeavor and Toya and Dobby and stuff, but
Yeah,
what even like the situation
Yeah.
where Dobby is trying to trick Tokoyami? I thought that was very fluid. I thought it made total sense. Like, yeah, bring up that he killed the villain.
Other than the part he doesn't talk about Best Genius, like fuck the villain. Like Best.
I'm just saying when I
that
read that
fucks your
page,
psyche up
when
far worse
when
than
I read
he
that
killed the
page,
villain.
I did not think, oh, you should have brought up Best Genus. I just thought like, yeah, that's
I did right away. I'm like, who gives a fuck about Twice? Why does Tokiyami care about Twice? Why? Like, I don't.
Sure.
But him caring about the number 4 hero that the
Yeah.
number 2 hero just killed
Right.
the number 4
Right.
hero to
Yeah.
ingratiate
That's
himself
a
into
way
a
bigger
fucking
deal.
criminal organization.
I am not saying you're wrong. I completely agree with you, and
Yeah,
I do think
sure.
that would be the proper thing to say. I'm just saying when I was reading it, it flowed just fine for me.
Well,
it was
especially-
not. I had to do no suspension of disbelief to believe that conversation.
No, and I get it because I mean, Dobby's goal is to buy time for his quirk to not
Activate or
fucking
whatever, yeah,
rip his
charge
whole
up,
arm
yeah,
off.
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever,
Or to cool down
burn his
almost,
whole,
yeah.
cool down. Yeah, he's got CDR.
Well,
on his
yeah,
abilities,
his body's
definitely.
temperature has to lower because
Yeah.
he doesn't have the ice like Todoroki, right, to cool his body down manually.
Right.
Yeah. Todoroki's broken. Shoto Todoroki is broken as fuck.
I mean, obviously,
Still
Yeah.
the most broken character. Still the most broken character. in
but
the
that's
series.
intentional and
but-
explained because it's like quirk eugenics. You know what I mean? Like that's,
I know,
that's
but it's
explained.
it still doesn't make any sense why no other hero is doing what fucking Endeavor is doing to create multiple
Well,
quirks
at the
because
same time-
eugenics
counter
is
each
fucked
other.
up.
At the same time, it's implied
No.
that Dobby's fire is stronger than Todoroki.
He is fucked up. He is fucked up. But like that's
his
human
flame is
nature.
not
It's called
burning his
progress
skin
and
off.
evolution. Like it's human nature
Right,
to
I'm just saying,
progress
like,
and
I don't know.
evolve. And like for only Endeavor to try that is a plot hole to me. There should be multiple people who have tried to combine quirks.
Maybe they
that
have.
counter
Maybe-
each other.
Yeah, it's
maybe they
called
haven't.
All
They just
for
haven't
One.
gone into it, and they just haven't gone into it.
No, it's
No,
not. It's not all for
there
one.
definitely
All for
is,
one
and they
is
just haven't
combining all
gone
sorts of
into it
quirks.
because
Yeah.
at
No,
the
it's-
beginning, when
that's
it was
like
introduced-
unintentional.
Hold on,
when it
hold on,
was
That's
hold on,
unintentional.
hold on. Eagle, go ahead.
Eagle, what are you talking
That's
about?
unintentional.
When it
That's
was
unintentional.
introduced, it was a concept. They said this is a thing that people do called quirk marriages, where people try and
Yeah.
further their quirks by combining.
They've definitely
their quirk
talked
with
about
another
how
quirk.
Well, why haven't we
People
seen
do
him?
that.
Because
Why haven't we
They
seen
just
him? And
haven't gone into it.
why isn't UA littered with him?
Yeah,
because the other ones haven't been able to. Like,
I mean,
okay, it was also explained it was also explained that Endeavor was able to.
Why is Mineta in UA?
Because of
there's a lot of like weird questions you can ask like that, but like, why is UA not littered with characters,
multiple quirked fucking children that have been fucking breeded over the last
because that's obviously a very negative. That's obviously like a very like negative concept, right? Like that's obviously a very like in regard to like morality and like ethics, like you probably don't want to like highlight all of that.
Morality is the theme of this story.
That's right, but like inside of this classroom setting that you're trying to flesh out as wholesome and like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed like heroes coming into their own, you probably don't want to like litter that with a bunch of like.
It doesn't have to be UA. I mean, even though I said that, UA. It doesn't have to be. I know. But because that makes sense. Like, why wouldn't UA have double quirked fucking kids at this point? Anybody would have been trying that with any like regular logic. I feel like anybody would have been trying that. And we've already heard about quirk marriages.
Wait, so what do you mean anybody would be trying that? That's a very negative concept inside of the story. Like the example that we have for that is
are you trying to tell me arranged marriages is new in My Hero Academia?
No,
because that's been happening for fucking 10,000 years.
I'm not no, dude. Okay. I'm saying look at it inside of the narrative, dude. Like the example that we have is a fucking like piece of shit father who doesn't care about his kids or his girl. He just wants to breed the tightest quirk. That's very negative. Why would
why is there only one of those people?
Well, I understand that.
And I would say because all these people are heroes. Exactly. A lot of these people are they're good people. Most people that are trying to be heroes that are paragons of ethics and morality
and put into Anbu Foundation or whatever.
Hawks is not a good example to show good morality.
But where are the rest of those heroes that were plucked and put into My Hero fucking Foundation?
We're probably going to start finding out more about them now that we have the Hawks example.
The story moves too slow for me.
Okay, and that's fine. That's fine, but don't say it doesn't make sense just because it moves too slow for you.
It doesn't.
To piggyback off of what you said, Kiko, I totally agree because it's not the plot, it's the setting development. Yeah. The setting development, it's ripe. It's a gold mine waiting to be. All this stuff is
There's
waiting
nobody
under
who
the surface.
Can logically explain to me why Endeavor's the only one who's tried this by now. There's no person who could logically ever explain. If they will,
so you want them to logically explain to you? Do you want them to logically explain to you why Endeavor's the only one that's been focused on? Or do you want them to logically explain to you because they already said Eagle?
We haven't seen a second one. Period. Yeah, we haven't seen a second one.
You're saying there's no logical explanation
money, power, and
nobody else
are able to do it
to have done this,
and it's just not.
No, go ahead.
Anyone else?
Why are kids without money, power, influence automatically plucked and placed into UA? Like, don't y'all understand how politics and like money and power work? Like, those kids would have already been in UA, and there would have already been multiple quirk kids all over the fucking place. Like, it doesn't fucking make sense how money, power, and politics work. And in this world that we have,
because it's not always directly compatible. Like, you can't take a fucking quirk like Yaomomo's, which can fucking materialize shit out of your body, and find a quirk that's as compatible with it as easily as you can. Okay, I got fire
and ice.
Let me find ice and balance this shit out.
Yeah,
like it's not simple as it is.
That's the easy way out. That's the easy way out. That's the easy way out.
That's the easy way out. There's a lot of quirks that are complicated.
People would be trying to figure that out. I don't think there's only one person in this world who would have said, "Hey, I'm a fire quirk. What counters me? Ice, and we can regulate each other."
But it's not a counter.
So.
It's
a regulate
cooldown. It's a regulator.
Regulator. Exactly.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Find the other examples of quirks that would mesh that way.
And come back next week.
You're putting me on the spot to just go.
No. I'm not saying do it right now. I'm not saying do it right now. I'm saying let's think about it. Because if you're gonna say it doesn't make sense, then you can't logically explain it to me. Then let's take some time to actually sit down and look at the quirks that we see in the story and think about other
healing factor.
Yeah.
Healing factor. Healing factor automatically counters everybody's fucking singularity. Why is there no healing factor?
I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, you could just make shit up. Like, if you put Wolverine into Bakugo at the same time, his bones aren't gonna creak, but he fucking just makes as big of an explosion as he wants.
Yeah.
Like and obviously Kohei didn't decide to do that.
Is a very rare mutation inside of X-Men. So like the fact that we don't
No, it's
have
not.
one,
A bunch of people have it because they cloned it and they gave it to a bunch of other people.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't have that.
So it's actually the least. It's actually the least common fucking mutant power in X-Men.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you're asking where's the healing factor inside of My Hero Academia. That's just like a very.
I'm not asking for that, but you're putting me on the spot to like think of a counter to somebody else's ability.
I'm saying,
that's what I would come up with.
I'm saying, let's think about, let's take some time, even outside of the show, to like look at the quirks that have existed inside of the series and think about ways that those quirks can be combined to do the same kind of like regulatory, combination as Todoroki's, and maybe that'll give us some insight as to why we don't see them as often.
And what I'm saying is.
These are top tier storytellers, right? As a rule, right? Like the mangaka are top tier, and I'm not going to try to ever act like I can tell a story better than these guys, and I don't want to act like and I don't want anybody to think that. But Fire and Ice is not hard.
Yeah,
that's the easiest fucking one to do.
That's why that's the example we have.
That's the easiest one on the planet. Anybody could think. I mean, if you give me a week, okay. Next week I'm gonna come up with fucking 20 of these.
Okay, but you have to use examples of quirks we've seen inside of the story, though.
I want you to.
I do want you to. I would love you to. I'm not trying.
That's a lot of hard work. But that's a lot of hard work. But I could do it.
But I mean, like this is your argument.
But I'm saying I could do it, and I don't write any stories.
Yeah, this is your argument. So take a look at quirks that we have inside of the series, because you have to use those, because you can't just.
Redestro gets mad. Redestro gets mad and he turns fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
So if you have one that just makes you fucking melancholy and just calms you down, and you can think through any fucking any situation ever, and you will calm yourself instantly, that automatically calms Redestro.
Where's that quirk? Where's that melancholy quirk inside of the story?
You can just make it.
Exactly. You can. Your entire argument is going to be, where are these quirks we haven't seen yet, and why haven't they?
You want me to pick quirks that already exist within the story, which is probably impossible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if that's the kind of.
But if I'm the story writer, I just could create whatever quirk I want. That's not unfair. You're trying to place me in a box.
I'm not trying to place you in a box. I'm just saying.
Yes, you are. You're trying to say operate within the confines of this ruling, which is you've seen these in the story. Why? Why would I have to do that?
I don't know. Just because, like,
that doesn't make any sense.
But then you're just gonna make up your own quirks and say, why haven't we seen those inside of the story right now in arranged marriages?
Exactly right. And that's what the author does.
A big part of it also is like Todoroki's uniqueness as a character. Like, if you had a bunch of fucking combination
Shoto's not unique as a character.
He is, because he's the only combination quirk character in the
not within
series.
Shonen. Not within Shonen manga.
A bunch of combination quirk
characters.
He's Neji. In My Hero Academia,
he's a copy of Neji.
Cheapen his character.
He's
and
Neji.
What Endeavor put the family through in order to get that.
He's Neji.
Like, I see what Kiko's talking about. I see what you're talking about.
He's not a groundbreaking character. He's about the most basic character in Hero, actually. Other than no. Time.
You gotta relax.
Other than the dynamic between him and his father.
That's a big deal. You can't just say other than the biggest deal regarding to his character.
I'm saying, but his quirk and his demeanor and his attitude is a dime a dozen in shonen manga.
Yeah, but the depth that Kohei gives him in his writing and his pathos and his overall character is what matters more so than the cookie cutter.
Hey, I just finished Final Fantasy X. That's Titus and Jack.
The cookie cutter surface level mold that you just like painted for Todoroki's like character on the surface. Yes, we've seen that before, but what makes him a unique character? Man. All right.
I will say that I do agree with Kiko to a large degree, and you can't just say that like Todoroki is unique because he has two quirks.
He's
like
boring.
That is exactly.
He might be the most boring character in the series.
That is actually
if you think
exactly
about
what
his
Kiko is talking
personality,
about.
maybe,
like,
but he's not boring in regard to his writing.
No, his abilities are boring. His abilities are boring. His character's boring. His motivations are boring. They're all boring.
Are they?
Yeah. Okay. Him dealing with the father-son thing. Okay.
I feel like you're cheapening it for the sake of your argument, but that's fine. Like, I feel like
you might be right. You might be right.
The writing inside of that is amazing, and that's what we've talked about has been amazing.
The writing inside of it is all on Endeavor's side. It's all on Endeavor's side. It's not on fucking Shoto's side. It's all on Endeavor's side. It's not on Shoto's side, which makes Shoto trash.
I wouldn't say it's all on Endeavor's side just because Endeavor is the focus of those chapters. It is a side. It still extends to
Who has more development?
The perspective,
yeah. Okay, so just because Endeavor has more development doesn't mean that automatically makes Todoroki boring. You're saying that just because it was all Endeavor focused, that Todoroki just doesn't matter, even though he extends directly from that depth.
He's a part of that.
He's a part of
everything
he's a part
Endeavor
of
did
all of
directly
that. I think
and
that he's
affected
very,
him as a person.
If you think he's boring, I can't help that. But like, he's not like he's got a lot more depth. He's got a lot more depth. He's got a lot more depth than most UA
You know who's not
characters.
boring? Geten. Be
Yeah.
shonen. Look at this boy.
He's a pretty
That's a
man.
girl.
He's
That's
a pretty,
Getsun's a
pretty
girl.
boy. What?
No, it's not. It's a man.
Is it?
It's a guy.
I could have sworn they
It's
said
a guy.
Geten was a girl.
They did earlier, I think, in My Villain Academia.
And
I
they
feel
changed
Oh,
it?
really?
was a-
Wait. So is a girl or a guy?
No, it's not. It's a dude.
How do we know that?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of comments on this that he's actually a dude. I don't know.
I mean, it looks like a dude to me.
It's. I feel
He's
like
just a pretty
it's
boy.
the actual.
He's just pretty.
Yeah. No, and there was something within like the actual translation that I don't know. The way his dialogue was or something like that confirmed that he at least identified as a male.
Yeah, I'm fine with either way. I mean, like, yeah, I like
I
this
mean,
character. He's pretty.
He's Bishonen. He's definitely Bishonen. Like he's got blonde or white eyelashes and eyebrows. And
I
and
really
hair.
like him more now that his hood is down. Like before, I was just like, oh, this is like ice climbers, like some sort of ice dude. Fine, I don't care. But like now, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't know. I guess
Well,
I'm a
and he
sucker
had
for
a little
Bishonen.
bit more, and he had a little bit more depth as far as his ice power went, compared to Todoroki. Like he was actually like freezing like molecules like within the air, like the there was more depth and explanation on how his ice power worked, where there is virtually none for Todoroki on how his ice power works.
Which doesn't mean it's not how Todoroki's works.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
might be
that-
working the same exact way. It's
yeah,
just we
very
just
same way.
haven't. Yeah.
What if
yeah,
they're related?
Could be. Very well could be.
That'd be
Very.
crazy.
I'm not going to say that is a theory of mine.
How about the whole guy, Bonolanov?
Yeah,
like
I
the
was
guy who buries a hole.
literally about to bring that up.
The Bonolanov guy.
No. Are you talking about the one that comes through the hole? To
Yeah,
attack
yeah.
the Orca?
Yeah, and he's got like
Yeah.
holes in his
Yeah.
face. He's got like holes
Yeah.
in his face and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
That
oh shit, what's
that-
gonna happen there? And then it just pans away from that. I was like,
That
oh.
ability looks tight.
Yeah, he's got holes in the cheeks and then holes in the throat. Like I just thought of Bonolanov right away. And he like burrows holes through whatever. I mean,
Right.
I don't take it as like a digging ability. I take it as like an erasing matter ability, which might be broken
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah. I do agree with you there for sure. The only other thing I had about this chapter is the last page where Giganto Machia is saying Master's Scent is here. And I guess I'm assuming that this is Shigaraki.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually
Shigaraki activate.
I was looking to you, Kiko, because, you have opinions
I mean,
about All for One.
it's been passed on. It's been passed on, and I like
The
hard to
master
say this in the right way.
Master here has nothing to do with the quirk. It is
exactly
it is
right.
who he has chosen to be the master.
Yep, exactly.
And so
And-
that's why I
and-
think it's pretty obviously Shigaraki.
And All for One burrowed it into Gigantomachia's mind that Shigaraki is the new master and you need to follow him. But he never signed on to that until Shigaraki proved himself right before My Villain Academia. Like right before that arc. They fought him and he had to prove himself. He fought him for like 10 days straight or some crazy shit. I don't remember what it was, but
Long time.
But yeah, that was really great. And I don't disagree with that's who he is addressing as master right now.
Yeah.
I just think that, master is temporary.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Are we good?
Yeah,
That's all I
that's
had.
it. That's
I'm
all I
good.
had for Hero.
Beautiful week.
Hey,
Beautiful
one
week.
more thing. That's a good story for you when we can argue like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Hell yeah.
Well,
dude.
with that, then I think this does it for another episode, this week's episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to slap a like on this video if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that noti bell, and we'll chirp you when we come out with some new shit.
Yeah.
Be sure to hit that comment section and let us know what you thought about this Weekend Jump, or if you had any questions or or you want to talk shit about any of our opinions or whatever, just hit that comment section, do whatever you need to do.
Not me. What?
And as we said before, go ahead and visit that link tree in the description box, where you can find the links to any and all of our online communities and platforms, audio listening, things you can consume the podcast on.
Yes.
And ways to support the podcast if you would be so inclined.
Hell yeah.
And with that, this will be another incredible episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Wrapping up, I'm your host, Eagle.
I'm a hater. I mean, Kiko.
I'm the My Hero Academia evangelist, aka Noxie.
And
Nickums. Marvel
Nickums.
evangelist.
Yeah, right.
One man's racist, another man's soul. Nice way of saying y'all washed up, and I'm getting fed up like Oprah